picture so that we can place everything accurately, and so we can see the way forward. If it means we have to get the monies that, you know, the Uhurus have stolen, the Railas have stolen, the Rutos, we need to know how we can do that. Again, I'm really sorry for everyone who's lost a loved one. We are in this together. Let us know how we can help and be there for each other. Yeah, Viva.
Thank you so much, Dinda, and we really, really appreciate your submission, and we hear you so well. And thank you so much for that. Lady Justice, I see you make 100, 200, 200. How are
I'm sending 100 each to our comrades on the ground. You know, thank you very much. I had to run into a meeting, but now I'm back. Let's continue the conversation. Muknyabinda, he's here.
Ujamenda is here, like, but I think is I don't know what he's doing. Veteran, you had the mic, Leila, Kenya folk, uh, Kenya for Kenyans, and then in that Eric Monga, blessed Pema Nonini, Nonini. Welcome, I see you, bro. Thank you so much for joining. Lady Justice, umeshika hiyo laini.
Hebu rudia tena. Umejua siku hizi nakuwa mzee.
Veteran,
Veteran.
veteran,
Yeah, am I audible?
unazeeka. Yeah, Leila, alafu Kenya for Kenyans. Kuna Eric Omonga, kuna msemeji hapo.
Perfect. Tuko
All right. Let me
sambamba.
first.
Go ahead, veteran.
I think really justice is saying something, but all right. Let me proceed. So I was just saying that I'm very much appreciative for this wonderful moment and the opportunity that you have given me. And secondly, I would like to congratulate each and every person who attended, either physically and financially or in any way that you contributed. God bless you. So first and foremost, I would like to say that I have listened to Joy. Joy is saying that we report some some of the accounts here in X. On X, they are trying to tarnish our motives and everything that we are trying to fight for. It's like they are, because of they are on the side of the government. So I was another space, and we have tried to report that account for Robert Arai. I think you guys, the way we are here, I see we are over 100 and something, almost 180. If we can take part and report this account, it can be a good. We can fight a very good battle because this guy has a following. We can, and at the same time, and everything we are posting, he's making sure that everything we are doing is nonsense. It's so please, you guys, if you can do so, it can be of paramount importance. Kindly. So second thing I would like to say that we have fought, and the far we have gone, we are doing something. So let us continue pressing on and making sure that our demands are met, and we should not give up. So I have seen there is something that I have seen someone here retweeting, and I have seen that it is in a Trans Nzoia, where because there are no roads there, the government is collecting money from there, and those guys, the MCA is not doing anything. So he went to that place. He went to his constituents, and he was forced to walk on mud, kwa matope, kwa sababu hakuna barabara. Unaona, he was forced to walk on the mud and left his vehicle there. So because there is no accountability, he's not doing anything. He's just taking money, taking tenders and everything, but there is nothing he's doing on the ground. So those are the things that we are saying that's supposed to be. We are supposed to, and at the same time, you guys, imagine we are paying tax, but you are, well, we are not refusing to pay tax, but tax yenye tunalipa ni ya nini? I have been to a place, I have been to another country outside, whereby I was hospitalized there. Imagine I paid 300 years and I was hospitalized there for 6 days. And you find that anytime that you are going to the hospital, because you have an HIF card, in that country they call it medical card. So you find that it's the same like NHIF card. You find that no matter how many or how much amount of the tablets cost. You just pay like 3, 4, or even less than 5 shillings Kenyan money. Like, okay, it's equivalent like 100 and something. Those are a lot of tablets, and it is very hard for you to purchase all those tablets. So sometimes you find that you're buying for 3, 4, something of such kind. So in our country, they are trying to embezzle each and every cent that we are paying as tax, and taking those money, the money that you are paying tax in overseas countries, so that they can go and enjoy with their families and relatives there. Can you try to think about the people who are in the village, those people who even don't know the school, the gate of the school where it is? Think about those people who doesn't have anyone even to direct them to the school. They doesn't have even clothes. They doesn't have shelter. They have nothing. Just imagine about when these politicians go there, they just chip them. Hey, we are going to do this and that. We are going to do. Then after election, they vanish. They will never be seen there again. You see, these people. Imagine for ourselves, I can see that many of us here are educated. Those people are not educated. Those people knows nothing. They just rely on those politicians to give them the information. As because they trust those politicians so much, they exactly do what they are being told by those guys. You see, because there is no infrastructure, there is no even they doesn't have radio, and maybe they doesn't even have television, so they have nothing. So as we are advantaged because probably or at least we are educated somehow, and we know we get the first hand information. We are enlightened. So guys, this war, I feel sometimes I get emotional when I think about this. Some those people doesn't have anyone even to. Bro, let me not continue. You just give them my 2 minutes.
Kuna shida veteran, hakuna shida. You know, ni mapambano tu, kila siku mapambano. We will manage, we will manage. Nimeona hapo comment, mtu amesemaje hapo? Kuna mtu amesema hapa ati tulikuwa tunaongea hiyo mambo ya resources that we have in Kenya, and there is oil in Turkana, and there was a time somebody wanted to extract that na gava ikaleta nyokonyoko, and then that project ilinyamaza tu hivyo. Mi kenye nasema at the end of the day, kama Kenya iko na deni ya watu yenye nafaa kulipwa, mimi sitaki ati now next year I'm paying even more taxes. Mimi nataka tu we go and audit our wabunge wetu, our leaders wetu wenye walipora watu, tuone tu waliporea wapi, tuone ni ngapi we can get back, and then most importantly lazima we hit them where it hurts the most, their salaries. We cannot afford to pay somebody hundreds of thousands while we are not preparing our children for this digital revolution that is happening around the world. It's an embarrassment that right now you can still travel to the rural areas in Kenya and you find that kids are sitting on the ground while they should be learning how to code. They should be learning how to make apps and creating a digital economy for themselves. Hatutanyamaza, hatutakuwa limited with words. What we know is that we need accountability, and we are not going to allow our government to keep on borrowing just so that they can pay their salary. Tutafika point mwenye hataki kufanya kazi arudi kwake, aende aishi kwake, aende akae kwake polepole. Hizo job za gava, hizo sijui minister fai hata kulipwa over 150k. We should make it so bad that mtu akitaka kuingia bungeni aingie pale ni kwa sababu anataka kufanya job, anataka kuprogress nchi, but si ati anaenda pale ati ndiye anunue Rolex. No, our people will not be used as a source of creating wealth. We demand leaders who can lead us like other countries are being led. Resources or no resources, their resources, the few that we have in Kenya, if it's used accountably, it can take us a long way. Haya, tuende huko kwa Mr. alikuwa ni Kenya for Kenya. Kenya for Kenya.
Nilikuwa Lela Lax, Job Masika. Yes, Lady Justice. Job Masika analia sana ati nilikuwa namwangusha. Job hakuna mtu anakuangusha. Wewe angalia network yako itakuwa sawa tu. Hakuna mtu atakuangusha kwa hii space. Lela Lax ndiye alikuwa anakuja Lady Justice.
Haya, Leila tafadhali tupatie maoni yako dada au ndugu.
Nadhani unajua ni asubuhi, labda anapikapika sasa kwa jikoni ameshikana.
Hamna shida. Tutaenda hapa kwa Kenya for Kenya. Tuambie mwenzangu, ni nini tunapigania leo?
Hey everybody. Very happy to hear from you all. Tunapigania uhuru wetu.
Beautiful.
I am so proud of what Kenya is doing right now. I mean, I could not even have dreamt it because I used to despair. Everyone would say, oh no, Kenya is a peace-loving country, so we can't dare. Really, what they really meant, I think, was we were too scared to do anything. But, just very recently, I had someone post about how we should all have peace. And I had to really say, no justice, no peace. We need to have justice. And right now, we even need to have more justice because of all the people they have killed already. So we cannot relent. And even I fear that if we relent, they would just, come for us one by one and make sure that we all go. So we can't relent. We have to just fight. And the other thing I'm thinking is that there's so many of us and much fewer of them. I think we each have to keep thinking about different strategies and approaches and use all our legal means possible to get these the change that Kenya deserves. It is so sad to see Kenyans in this state, people not being able to have the basics for living, and yet they have been in an independent country, a country that has gotten independence for 60 years, but really was just a continuation of the colonialism, but under Black colonizers. So I'm very happy. I'm glad for the fight. I know it's not easy. I feel for all the lives that we're losing, all the heroes that we're losing. These are no different than the Mau Mau and the others who fought for our independence. We are fighting for our independence, and we have to keep at it. And it seems very dark, but I am very convinced that this is the darkness before the dawn and the dawn of a new country. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Kenya for Kenyans. Well put. We have to keep fighting. We have to. This is our bone to chew. Hii sio ile yenye utaenda ukasema ati hii bone ni ngumu, acha nirushie dogi pale. Ukirushia dogi, kesho uko tu na shida. So this one is ours. This one is ours. And one of the things we normally say is that, sijui kama umesoma hiyo book inaitwa 48 Laws of Power. Kuna mahali ukishapigania mwenzako, umemshikilia makende vizuri, umwache. Ukimwacha apate tu nafasi ya kupumua for 2 minutes, you're gone. The frustration we put the president through, knowing the president and even knowing his mentor, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, Ruto can turn into something else. So at this point, Mambo ni Ruto must go. And I'm glad that earlier on today he said, Kenya is a good country with brilliant minds, that he's seeking individuals who can help him figure out how to fix this. Yes, he's in a mess. Ipura is in a mess. Like there's no way he's gonna figure out how to pay this debt. But it's not just his debt; it's our debt now. He's forced us to find solutions for this. So we have to come out with all these ideas. And number one, mi nataka watu waendage nyumbani. We cannot have almost 500 MCAs na ndio hiyo wamedharau watu mtaani. MCA anapita ni kama, unajua saa zingine MCA anakupita na hiyo gari yake yenye amepata pesa, behaving like they are God, and at the same time their salary is tanking, is putting the country in debt. No, wale waendage wakienda. And Mr. President, if you're listening, si tuko tunakupatia maoni. Anza na hao watu wengi. You don't need a million prefects. As a leader, you just need a few. Kitambo tulikuwaga na provinces ngapi? Na hizo ma provinces zilikuwa tu na ma representation. Saizi we have like over 43 CG counties, CG what. I'm like, no, too much. We have to amend that constitution. Yes, we still want devolution, but we do not want so many leaders that are siphoning money from the government. Acha nisiseme mingi, takuja nikasema yenye nita regret. But anyways, hapa ni the house of kusema. We gotta find a solution. So I'm gonna go to you. Next is, I think it's Eric Omoga. Am I right, Hillary? Eric, please go on. Oh, what happened? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I thought now that Hillary is gone, everybody's gone. Thank you. Eric, are you ready to give us your points? And then we go to Job Masika after that.
Can I go if Eric is not ready?
Who is speaking?
X.
Hey, wewe umeingia tu saa hizi ama umekuwa hapo?
Nimekuwa for
For a while.
dropping.
Haya, endelea alafu tuende kwa Masika, then Professor Reese.
Sawa. Yeah, so I've had a busy day today. Lakini try to follow up what's happening over in Kenya. Niko New York. I tried to go over to Kenya to join my brothers over there, Jana, but
Nimekupoteza.
it's a bit long. Oh, yeah. Am I back?
It's better now.
Sawa. Theme ya leo ilikuwa nini, by the way? Is it about what's happening in Zimmerman, Githurai? Because I wouldn't like to go off topic and talk about things.
No,
that I don't relate.
actually, we started when there was an attack going on overnight in Githurai, Zimmerman, and all that kind of places. But later on, we just said, you know what? Let's vent away.
It's open. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. I want to get a general feel. How do you guys feel about how everything is going so far?
Things are okay.
If anyone can.
Me, I think we are
Okay.
we the mission is on track, so there's nothing to worry about. And like any other
Okay.
revolution, it's gonna have its up and down. And considering this one of ours does not have a leader and does not intend to have a leader, it complicates things. And we are troublous and we are fearless. So all that comes with a lot of vitimbi that we did not anticipate. But with that said, our thing is special. Nobody's ever done this before around the world. So there is no blueprint for it, so we're just winging it as we we going through it. So everything is okay. X.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. My prayer is really that is really. I hope that we're going to be able to get this guy out of office. I was really sure that it's going to happen on the 25th. I was actually on the ground that day. We took a ticket. 1,500 Kimbia, Kenya. I was on the ground that day. I really knew that was when it was going to happen. But unfortunately, it didn't. we are incredibly close to getting this thing done. We'll just need to withstand all these, minor things. I see they're sending all these crazy ass people who are killing innocent people in the neighborhoods. But I don't know. It should not really get us scared. My feeling is that this is just a scare tactic. In the meantime, as they try to panga their own things, but I don't think it's going to work. My thing is, we should not be talking about stories at 2027. That is nonsense to me. The time is now. This is the opportunity that we have. Let's keep applying more pressure, push as far as we can. No problem if kama things ni moto sana, we can retreat kidogo, but we need to keep the pressure on because oh my goodness, like signed or nimekuwa able to step at Twitter the whole day today, but log inside, things I'm seeing. My God, Kenya is really not a democracy. We're just a pseudo democracy. Tunajidanganya, tunajidanganya, and they tend to like celebrate. We're better, I don't know, than Uganda, what. Compare ourselves to this country, these smaller countries around us, and feel like we are like some sort of democracy. But in reality, really, we are not a democratic country at all. Like, then I see people driving around and overall like toka chini and then I make a mask Jew. This is crazy. They look like majambazi, and it's crazy to see such things happening in 2024. And I can guarantee you, like, if we do not get this thing done as soon as possible, or in the next few weeks, or a month, or something, 2027, it's not going to be easy to take this guy out of power the way people are thinking. You can all see voter suppression is well underway. You are on track. I can guarantee you it was not going to be easy to get this guy out of power. The time to do it and to reset all these things is now. Like, there's no going back. India time. This is our time. So guys, any pressure. Mimi nitakuwa nyumbani. I'll be in Nairobi on Thursday. Thursday morning, I'm hoping that we'll have some protests going on. I want to participate, do a little bit of photography, contributed to the medical funds since the beginning, and I'm hoping to contribute to whatever I can while I'm there. So it's a luta continua, no giving up. Tuende, let us go. Let's keep the eyes on the prize to see a look at. And good night to all the guys in the diaspora, and maybe good morning to the guys back at home. I'm out. Bye.
Oh, shukran, X. Yes, there's no giving up at this point. Hapa give up, hey, utajikuta umekaa na stories, utaambia tu mjukuu. So hapa game ni moja, tuendelee na hakuna question nyingine, hakuna cha niliona nini hapa sikuje na tuendelee au tusiendelee. Hapana, nini leo ni tuendelee. So yes, we gotta keep going. I'm gonna give the opportunity to Job Masika, Professor Reese, alafu Blessed, in that order. Job Masika, endelea. Hatukusikii mwenzangu. Huyu Job ni kama Ruto amepotea na sauti yake. Professor Reese,
Amelala.
hebu tuone kama sauti yako iko spared in this government.
Hi, good morning. Unanisikia?
Takusikia.
Nasikia ni kama bado amerudi kulala. Now, it's very sad, what happened last night in Zimmerman, and we must keep on injecting. We must keep the pressure pushing. We must put up the pressure to the highest point because this regime, that I want to concern the lives of others.
Professor, hiyo sauti yako ni
Now,
kama
we
Ruto
must also
anaikatakata.
consider hii mambo ya IDs, we must consider hii mambo ya IDs, because like right now unasikia ni kama wameacha kuprint IDs hazitoki kabisa. Like
Professor, hiyo nini yako inasumbua masikio bwana. Kwani uko wapi? Prof. Nini yako inasumbua masikio bwana. Kama unatumia earphone toa. Sasa hii ni asubuhi.
Sawa.
Yeah, inasumbua tu sana. Napiga kelele sana.
Hey, hiyo ni kama sauti.
Unanipata sasa vizuri?
Ngoja hivyo bwana. Sasa ile ongea ni kama unanyongwa.
Wewe unaleta sauti ya Ruto na sisi tunataka sauti ya
nimetoa earphone.
tunataka sauti ya raia, sio ya Ruto.
Sawa, sasa as I was saying, kuna hii issue ya IDs. Many people wenye wameapply IDs sasa hawapati IDs. Like they want to divert the attention of the people. Hii mambo ya kuchukua kura venye tulisema watu they must take the votes, they must apply for the voting cards. We must consider occupying pale venye huwa wana print IDs kwa sababu many people who have applied for the ID cards they are still waiting. How comes a person who has already applied for an ID since last December up to now hajapata ID? Many people are waiting for the IDs and they are not getting the. Unaenda kuangalia kama imekuja, unaambiwa bado hazijakuja. So another issue is mambo ya counties. County governments zimekuwa another den of theft. If you can see a county government having over 300 bank accounts, what for? Kama sio wizi inaendelea. Afadhali hata turudi kwa provinces. Tubaki na provinces as venye ilikuwa kitambo. Kwa sababu sasa ukiangalia governor anaingia kwa kiti kama ana kakitu, after those 5 years you will find them they are building so many buildings everywhere. Unasikia hii ni ya governor fulani, hii ni ya governor fulani. Kwani hii pesa wanatoa wapi kama sio ile ya wananchi yenye wanaiba? So I think Hillary, we must consider that point, especially hapo penye nimeongelea kuhusu mambo ya ID cards. Thank you very much na mkuwe na siku njema.
Shukran, asante sana. Yes, hii mambo ya ID, you won't be surprised if the government comes out and tells you that, oh, we don't have paper for printing. Do you remember last year for passport? When I heard that, I laughed so hard. I was laughing and the people were not having their passport. Like, I even remember traveling with somebody, Kenyan, who had a Kenyan passport, and she was like even telling the passport officer at the airport, please don't put the stamp on the next page because I won't have space and I cannot renew my passport. I'm like, how did we get here as a country? Huh? Hey, man, we were getting a man of God. And I was hoping that, it was going to get better from here. It looks like we just went down. So hopefully they have an explanation for the IDs and maybe the cheap one that they are introducing is also causing that. We do not know until they tell us. And so yeah. Twende kwa mwenzangu huyu alikuwa nani? Wajijua wewe Blessed. Endelea. Sawa Blessed Prince. Ulikuwa umebeba hapa mkono jameni. Hao umeenda incognito.
Poa.
Tuko poa. Haya, sasa tunakusikiza. Nakupata. Man. Inakaa leo hatuna bahati vile.
Hello.
Yeah. Tunakusikiza sasa, Blessed, endelea.
Haya, asante. Nasema let's bleed with the
Haikutaki. Pole mwenzangu.
Blessed ni kama wewe ni Job Masika alafu anasema atatolewa. Unajua pia tumsikii. Yeah, I think they have a problem with the mic, but they can check. They can mic check. All right, go ahead.
Samuel
Lady Just.
Kasuni. I think the next one is Samuel Kasuni. Halafu Baba Love.
Thank you so much, Lady Justice, for the opportunity. I think we gather here just to give ideas, and I'll just give my alternative idea as I've done in all the spaces. And I've tried to reach most of the guys I know they have some influence to listen to this. One, I'm happy that we are leaderless and we are tribeless. And what I've listened to so many spaces when you get in, we are repeating ourselves for the last 1 month. We all know our enemy. We all know what we need. And one of the biggest problem we have right now is if we don't manage to get him out of power, that is Mr. Ruto, whom we know very well, those of us who are in diaspora, I'm in the US, he has the full support of the international community because of what he's doing in giving them police and so many things. We might end up going to the ballot. So even if we get him out of power, we'll still have to go to the ballot. And that's what we should ask ourselves. What next? How do we go to that stage? So my humble request, as much as we are hardliners, we need to have to think of something like a secretariat or a council. And that council will be able to do there are two key things that if we don't do right now, even with the revolution, we might not be able to succeed. And one of the things is having a secretariat or a council, of which, if we were to choose, it will be very easy. People already know the people they trust and the people they can give them that opportunity. Is we need first to get a very good audit of how many people have got lost. So we have so many websites where people are trying to say we track those people have been able to get lost. Maybe we may be surprised right now there are more than 200 people who have lost. We may be having some people in there. So some speculation right now. There's a torture chambers. Yes, as we had Nyayo torture chambers. We may be having like 100 people right now in a container undergoing some torture. So we, at the end of the day, we may need a common council where all these discussions we are doing in the space, we convene our issues. They need to be convened to a common place. And secondly, we have an IBC being constituted in the next 1 week. Who is going to be our ear? Who is going to be oversee? Who is going to be our spokesperson there to see? These people being brought up, because everybody knows Ruto the military and was able to take over. We know Kenya, where Kenya stands in terms of stabilizing the regional. We need a civic education. So once we have a common organized council, it will be able to devolve 47 counties and be able to send our young guys, whether in the college and wherever, we send them to the villages. We have left back behind those people there. They are still the same. I don't know where Law Society of Kenya have seen Madam LSK chairperson. She's going from cell to cell and all police stations transnighting. No, they need some kind of financial assistance. And the best way to bring that is through an organized system that you can be able to know we are channeling this money for a movement and to be able to oversee those who are searching for the dead people, those lawyers who are filing cases in the court. These are who are doing this and that's not. So without that is mobilization of funds, this thing cannot move forward. And lastly, when we talk of we are jumping things, talking of we need 8 provinces. Remember, to get these things, we need referendum. And to have referendum which is successful, we need the right people in the parliament. And to have the right people in the parliament, we must control the whole IBC process and we'll get those people. So before we talk of 8 provinces and wherever, which we already know we want them, we want to reduce this overrepresentation, then we must have the right people in the parliament. And to have the right people in the parliament, we must do civic education. And to have to do civic educations, we need people to spearhead that. Otherwise, we are going to be used among us ourselves to divide ourselves and we not be able to achieve that. So lastly, these people who are spearheading, today, you heard that like the people like Professor, this comedian who has been, so which is in place. We should use now these people who have influencers like those professor to be able to pressure those people. Maybe in the we are still fighting ethnicity, but we still have is a good thing when we use also people from those ethnic community to fight, because he's fighting somebody like Bitok, who is also a Kalenji. It becomes very confusing for him, for Bitok to take an to retaliate, the government to retaliate. So how are we going to protect this professor? Eric Omondi, Cass kidnapped. Very soon he'll just get tired and we are just busy we should have one person who represents the people in the US, so that our issues in terms of this movement, specifically for this revolution we are doing, because people in diaspora are the most hurt people, because we know without corruption, we know what our country should be first world, because we have experienced what the life in first world without corruption, what it means. So if we could have somebody in diaspora representing, like US, we have one person, then we can be able to listen to the council, which is at home. And with that kind of organization, then we can achieve what people like Mandela achieved in South Africa. And I think we'll be able to attain our first independence, because we have never been independent. Thank you.
Can I follow Samuel?
Lady Justice.
Yes.
We had a lineup, my friend.
Okay, thank you, Lady Justice and Hilary.
No, we have Babala. Mohammed.
I share Samuel's opinion.
Mohammed, ngoja kidogo bwana, ngoja kidogo tu. Kuna huyu Babalava amekaa hapa for a long time, alafu utaongea baada yake.
Naam, natumai nyote mwazima na mnanisikiza. Ningependa kuanzia na jana kabla sijaanza kumeka commentary nyingine. Niko county 001. Polisi ni wachokozi. Tuongee na tuseme ukweli. Whatever this government is doing, ningependa tu kuuliza, how much are these guys being paid to kill your brother, your sister, unajua jana mimi nimeona bubu akishutiwa live bullet ikamgraze kwa forward. Hata tuko nayo kitu kwa YouTube. Nimeona mtu akishutiwa bullet kwa mguu akakimbia. Nimeona journalists wakipigwa tear gas mpaka ikabidi watu wapige Colgate. It is so sad in this day and era. Alafu sijamaliza ku digest hiyo kitu nime experience kwa maandamano, because we did like, hata tumetoka tu mapembeni, tukifika Casablanca tumepigwa matia gas nini, tukazungushwa hapo katikati. It was so sijamaliza kidogo, naingia X naangalia, naona Githurai zima watu wanashutiwa live bullets. Yani ujamaa ameamua kutuua, yani ameamua kutudedisha, yani hataki opposition kabisa. For me it's very sad. And the question I ask myself is, how did we get here? So when we began implementing the constitution kutengeneza, unapata first time watu wakasema, we can remain in the 8 provinces, have super governors. Then yoni wakati kina Ashbalga wameanza. I've been following this constitution implementation. Hata nakumbuka at some point tulikuwa wakati constitution imepromulgatiwa Mombasa, we were in the steering committee ya question these people who were in power that time before watu wenge kama governor nini. And we were tear gassed. I can never forget, tumeenda CDF Kisauni office just to ask the CDF chairperson, kwa nini pesa fulani inaenda to a private school, kwa nini shule fulani ya public inanemewa jina MP. Maze tulipigwa tear gas man, hata si tear gas, tulipigwa pilipili na tukarushiwa mawe na mahooligans na mateja. Ever since that day I've been looking for a chance whereby tutapata point in Kenya, tutaweza kusonga mbele. We have like-minded people who want to change the society for the betterment. Me, I'm tired of nepotism. Kuna time mtu hapa kwa group alikuwa anazungumza, I think it was Gits, akizungumza kuhusu vile funds zinatumika. Ukiangalia hata hiyo hesabu na hata vile limebana, this is just manufactured debt. Nimekuwa nikiangalia pia markets vile zinaenda. BlackRock wametoka, dola imeshuka na shilingi 2. Nitoaje, pound imeshuka na shilingi 2, euro imeshuka na shilingi 2. Hizi vitu si coincidence. Just follow the money and then you will know what is happening in Kenya. It's a game of numbers, it's a game of money. Alafu kuna old money na new money wanashindana. President anataka yeye afikie kama old money. Old money huwezi ifikia. Old money, the only thing unaweza itoa nayo ni sheria. And people need to start following the constitution. We have a very good constitution. It's just that the number of people ambao tuleko kwa representation ni watu walisneak kwa amendments kwa ile bomas draft ya kwanza. That's why we are here. And guys, me, for a fact, I will tell you, I've been an IBC official, I've been an election observer, I have been a voter. And your vote in Kenya does not count or matter. The system is rigged to serve the oppressors and their intentions. I asked myself one question. Inakuwaje president wetu ati before elections, 2 weeks before elections, wanaenda Charter House? Unaelewa? Inakuwaje a month before watu waelektiwe, chairperson of IEBC anaenda kukaa chini na nominated members from each party and discuss the territories, how they are and who will sit where. It's so sad, mazee. The system is just rigged and corrupt and unaweza fanya vitu vingi sana, but at the end of the day I support what Samuel was saying about we need a citizen oversight committee ya kuweza kufuatilia whatever is happening. I'm not amused na ile kitu nimeona ZIMMERMAN. How do policemen shoot kwa building? Mtu ameshikilia gun juu, ampiga tear gas mpaka inaingia kwa nyumba na shoot bullets. How? And then fala fulani atatokea hapa anze kusema tizo video ati ni Photoshop, ati ni AI. AI nini? Na hii ni kitu imeshutwa in real time.
Hello guys, am I audible?
Hello Mohamed, bado nazungumza, subiri kidogo.
Ngojea kwanza.
Am I audible?
Mohamed, nazungumza.
Mohamed, ngojea kidogo. Endelea Baba Love.
So Lady Justice, I think hizi vitu sisi si mafala, tunaona sawa. Technology kwetu imefika mapema. Mi nashukuru watu wengine wote hizi nchi zingine hapa kando yetu, watu wana sisi so notice we are the first anglophone country ambao tuna revolt against the oppressors, just like Burkina Faso. We need the army to intervene. Nashukuru vile army walifanya paipu baada ya kuona polisi wanarusha tear gas, KDF wakachapa kofi au mapolisi wajinga na wakatoka. Jana nimeona Navy walikuwa wanazunguka. When Navy left, that's when we were tear gassed in Mombasa. It is so sad. It is so sad. Mpaka jamaa wa Navy anasema aje, ni jamaa mngezidi tu hivyo ngangara, alafu tukirudi kipiga patrol lingine polisi wangetutambua. It means that the army is not with the government and they're just waiting for an opportunity to save us. We should not relent. We should on. Mimi yani personally I think kwa hizi maandamano, I think the first one usiku attend zote nimekuwa nikiattend. And the injustice ambao iko kwa system yetu, we need to rectify it. It's a matter of removing the old guard.
Baba Love, kuna swali kwako. So
wamemnyonga tayari, wamemnyonga ni kama sikiki sasa. Like justice, hatuwezi, cannot hear him.
hey,
Wamemnyonga, akirudi utamuuliza swali.
hey, yani tunajaribu lakini sauti ndio hiyo inakatwa. The moment alisema sijui the Navy is not working with the government, hapo tu ndio gava ikasema sasa huyu lazima ache kuongea. Oh, let's go to our next speaker. I think Mohammed is coming back.
No, Mohammed, you need to respect the space in the sense that you need to carry up your hands now.
Okay.
We really respect you so much, and it is important to move that way for us to keep the standard of the space.
So tuko hapa na Prince aliangushwa kiasi. He had a point earlier on, he didn't finish. So Prince endelea, alafu tukitoka kwa Prince tuende kwa Mohammed, alafu JMO. In that order, please.
Thanks. Hope mnanisikia.
Yes, unasikika.
So let me bleed with those ZIMMERMAN because chenye kimefanyika, by the way, tujafurahia Wakenya kwa wote. And to add on, today tuliplay game vizuri to confirm to Ruto that is totally hana akili, because he drained all the security to the JKIA. Personally nilikuwa JKIA asubuhi, niliingia huko asubuhi and I saw what was happening huko. Amemwaga huko ma troops, hizo nini za maji zimejaa huko, hizo helicopters zikaland zimejaa hizo multipurpose machine gun. So I was wondering, does he want to kill us all? Because launch hizo manini hapo, what are you thinking? And I was like, hey, let's wait. And what I observed today at Cabanas, I observed that this government, I think kuna wanahaya maguns, because I was sitting there is a certain group was coming in a number of 15, 10, wanakuja na marungu, wanaingia mali, wanaficha, they disappear. Wanaficha, they disappear. So I was wondering, are they together with us? Because you see, while we are going to demonstrate, we don't carry those weapons, only water and the bendera kama tuko nayo. That one aside, soldiers, let me congratulate the jeshi mwenye alikuwa pipeline, because the jeshi mwenye alikuwa pipeline, kuna polisi alikuwa anashoot tear gas in the plots, na huyo jeshi just told him, well, wacha kushoot kwa manyumba, hiyo tear gas hizo ni plots za watu, and the man continued. Huyo jeshi alimkula vizuri, akanosbleed hadi tukafurahi sana. That was a good example of our military, because they are not there to harm the mwananchi, because we are together. Apart from these demonstrations, we are one family. And the other issue nilikuwa nataka kuput concern sana ni kitu ya ID na hii expire maze. Sasa niulize, kama tuseme mzee wangu amefikisha, kama hiyo ID ina expire in 10 years, tuseme mzee wangu ajiondoe na 9 years, alafu mimi sijielewi, bado ni mdogo, so which means after hiyo ID expire, it will not reflect in the government machines, whereby when I want to claim something concerning my dad will not be appearing in the system. Does it mean that way? Apart from that, IDs hizi na delay kutoka, and you know a Kenyan gani yake yenye ameshika kwa mkono ni ID. How will we make it to remove this chronic leaders wenye wanatuongoza vibaya without identity card? Let me stand for those people who are from Turkana, those low areas. Watu hawana ile hata chakula peke yake hawezi leta kwa meza. How will they raise 1,000 shillings to go for ID? Unajua Huduma Center, they are not in every place. At least previously ulikuwa unapata siku za makura, ID zinakuja zinaprovidewa haraka, yani to ensure that everyone has an identity card. But this system that has come, quite unfortunate, inaua Mkenya slowly, because wale wazee, kuna wazee kwa nyumbani wamepoteza ID, kuna vijana wale wenzetu ambao wana mind to adarati, but during voting wanaweza enda vote wa change serikali, where watapata jobs kidogo huku ndani tujikimu nazo. But kama sasa the issue of ID imechukuliwa, at that point tutapona aje? I'm not satisfied with that. So please, when we are pushing this thing, let's pressure over that thing of identity card. Let it come back to a zero. Tupewe ID bure, please. Hiyo nayo is a very chronic issue yenye tunafaa tu consider. Alafu I was in a committee na mafriend zangu, na we were discussing about kuna issue yenye inaendelea ya Rangers. Unapata labda kuna ka park fulani unasikia ati haka ni kawanyama fulani, labda ina carry about 500 acres hivyo ama 1,000 acres, unasikia ati hapo kuna ni wanyama, marangers wanalinda wanyama, but what is going inside there is not the normal thing. Unapata labda huko ndani wanachimba migodi, wanachimba vitu fulani ambao wewe unaona tuma nini zina travel, zinaenda zinarudi, zinaenda zinarudi, you don't know what they are doing inside there. Watachukua tu a certain part of nini waeke hapo ma animals, muone kweli whatever is going inside there ni wanalinda wanyama, wildlife, but the other side inside huko, these people are stealing from us. We have to have an oversight committee yenye at least ina go through all this thing. To finalize hii story, let us keep on pushing hashtag this man must go. We should not relent anymore. Thank you.
Blessed Prince, asante sana kwa those submission. Tuko na line up hapa kibao. Sasa nataka tu nisome vizuri na wewe ushike yako. If I remember, it's Mohammed, alafu Jemo, alafu tuende talk is cheap. And then we'll tuta line up the rest. Naona mikono ziko juu, weka tu juu usijali. So Mohamed nenda, alafu Jemo, alafu talk is cheap.
Okay, thank you, really, Justice. Kwanza, Hillary, I didn't hear you speak at that time, so I wasn't breaking the queue, but my network was going on and off. So that's that. I wanted to respond to the suggestion from Samuel regarding having a secretariat. I also thought so, but I was wondering, this guy is already killing people, abducting them, and we don't have a secretariat. How do we protect those guys if we actually make their names known, and we now have people with faces and say, okay, these are the secretariat? Will that not endanger them? That's my question. In as much as I actually totally agree there's a need. The other issue I just wanted to raise, I don't know if Hillary has seen, there's a retweet I posted online on X. I quoted him. I don't know if you saw. I'm personally not happy with this invitation sent out to the Charada guys, the four commissioners who are called the Charada Four, because for the main reason we are agitating for a better Kenya, electing good leaders with integrity where impunity ends. I personally did not support Ruto in the last election, but what the Charada Four did was not actually right. It was well documented. They actually committed a treasonous act. So we don't want this movement to look like anything goes just because we're against Ruto. Anyone that's against Ruto is actually our friend. That's not the mindset we have. We wanted people who are actually disciplined, people with integrity, people with honesty, who can actually take part of this journey and help us change this country. Cherere herself was not qualified for that position. She was a mistress of Joho. It's well known, and that's how she got the position. So to invite her and her team, even though the challenge we have is, anyone with followers can actually create a space and invite anyone they want. That's the democracy. But to give her a platform, when we have Kenyans who are abducted, some injured, some paralyzed, some killed, fighting for a better Kenya, and we are hosting criminals, it actually questions, our filter, our intelligence. That's just my view of how I feel about it. I'm okay for people to support anyone they want, but I think we should not look like we are doing anything provided the person is against Ruto, and whoever is against Ruto is actually our friend. So that's my view about that topic. The other quick thing I wanted to talk about is actually the diaspora level. Again, on the secretariat Samuel mentioned, we actually need a lot more coordination. Even if we don't do a secretariat back home, I'm actually in Canada, we need a secretariat at the diaspora level, at least for coordination and how we actually can support the Gen Zs. If someone is injured now, there's no plan of where to direct funds. The Machanga system, we don't know how it's actually been organized. Can we see probably maybe how we can actually channel our support, like Samuel explained, if we can support the Law Society, or we can support the guys who are either abducted or injured. Basically, bring together our heads and see the best way we can support this movement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. I'm glad you brought in the issues of Sherera 4. Unfortunately, we're not the ones organizing that. One of our friends is hosting that platform, but from what I've heard so far is that the public wanted to ask questions. So they are really just being brought there for the reason of answering some questions, but I don't think it's really giving them a platform. So there's been a clarity around that these people should not be part of this, because they're part of the reason as to why we are here. So your concerns are noted, and it shall be communicated as well. Oh, as far as funds are concerned, anything to go to hospital bill and and bereavement payments and stuff like that. We've been channeling funds to Hanifa Farsai. She's good with telling us how the money is being used so far. So just go to her timeline, and there's a link from Changa there to be used. And I think last week on Thursday, was it? No, on Sunday, we had a conversation, I think in the Miguna room held by Hilary Gondi, that at some point we're going to have to think about resources and how that resources it's supposed to be channeled. So there are conversations going on behind the scenes, and even the matter of are we leaderless? Are we clueless? Are we the movement is not really leaderless per se. We know we have the Gen Zs who are our faces and all that, and we have majority of them who are speaking on behalf of the group. But we are not directionless nor leaderless. There are things going on behind the scenes, and because the movement is warriors, we also you gotta take your cover, and so that's what I'll say for now. The movement is well taken care of. We're working behind the clocks to ensure that Ruto must go, and once again we're saying that Ruto must go doesn't necessarily mean that the man has to go. We're talking about a system. Ruto is a representation of a system. Right now, what we need in Kenya is basically what is called systems change. And for you to have an effective systems change, you have to look at your policies, processes, procedures, and practices, and even the people involved in that system. So there is need for a system overall, and that overhaul can only happen if the current leadership notices that the system has failed and that something has to be done. That something has to give. Even as Babalav was saying earlier on, is are we winning this or not? What do you think? At the end of the day, where we are today, he will have to, if he does not resign by us requesting him to do so, there are other measures, and also from how I see it, he will have to do it voluntarily, because if you don't have money to run a country, what the heck do you want to do there? you know and it's not about having a military power anymore. It's not about you were democratically elected. Running a country is such a tremendous task, and Ruto set himself to fail. And I say this because his campaign model was structured around we have to kill dynasty. Well and good, but if you do not have the blueprint to run a country, you are. He needed to be even friends with the people who represent the dynasty to actually know how a country is run. Ruto kind of walked into somebody's house and say, you know what, me, I'm an outsider, I'm just gonna run this. And as somebody who is a true believer in justice, I'm not suggesting that sons of nobodies cannot be president. Even Barack Obama, when he was a president, you could always see what's his name, Bill Clinton, hovering over his shoulders all the time to provide that guidance. Ruto became enemies with the Mois, he became enemies with the Kenyattas, he became enemies with the Odingas, and before we know it, he was just borrowing like crazy. So he put himself in such a situation. Even going back to Raila, asking for Raila's help, is an indication that our leader that we have currently, he had good intention, he thought that he could do it, but it's not done that way. Running a country is not like walking into your grandmother's kitchen. So he failed us, And he has to come to a point and to reconcile with that and come to us as Kenyans and say, you know what, I had good intentions and I walked in here thinking that I was going to do the right thing. And I thought I was surrounded with good people, but this is where I have led you, and I'm sorry. And I cannot, for me to lead you people better, somebody else has to do it. I have a feeling he will come to that point where he gives up the leadership. Let's go to Jemo, and then it was talk is cheap. Mohamed, wewe umemaliza tu kuongea sasa. Unani confuse na huu mkono wako tena. Jemo, let's go. Mbio mbio.
Sorry, it was just up. Sikutoa. Pole.
Asante. Shukran. Jemo, uko hapo ama umeng'edhia?
Yes. Thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, good morning. Good.
Time inaenda na watu wanataka kwenda kazini. Jemo, ni kama speaker yako wewe umekatwa.
Yeah.
Anaongea Lady can you hear him?
No, I can't hear him.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jemo, I can hear you. I can hear him. Wacha akimaliza nikwambie.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jemo.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning. It's already morning, and we are still at this space, just like to, familiarize ourselves on what we need to do. Now, I just want to echo my sentiments on a few speakers that have already, contributed to this space. And in as much as we are seeing what is going on, you see there's too much that is going on. And the problem with us is about the power. We don't have the kind of power that these people have to curb what we are seeing. Now, Ruto himself could be seeing that he has a good plan that can take Kenya forth. And this plan, it's only with him. And in as much as he has it, many of us have seen that, no, it's not working. And the reason why his plan is not working is because the kind of people that he has that would help him to achieve what he wants are not doing exactly what he wants. So that leads to the whole nation saying we have a bad leader. Having said that, we need to, come up with our own system, our own way in which we need to have the government on check. And regardless of what we may be making noise about, we may be doing in each and every other day, doing demonstrations and all this and all that, we need to also come up with a system in which we have to be, highlighting on a daily basis such that this particular government will come to a point whereby they'll say, in as much as we are oppressing the nation, they really have what it takes. They know what we are actually doing. You see, as an example is whereby the government having an arm on which they have ways in which they deal with the people. Now, if you see a government that can as well act in a way that is not constitutional, that means something is wrong. An example is whereby we have so many ZUBARUs running up in the country, killing people, having the so-called, I don't know whether they're policemen or GSU guys, covered themselves with plain clothes such that you can't even see their face. And these are the kind of people who are being used to shoot at innocent wananchi. If you've actually seen the clips of the killings around the country, most policemen who shoot at innocent wananchi are people or are the policemen who are on high-end moving vehicles, not necessarily actually the policemen who are on the ground. Now, there's a movement. There are guys who are trying as much as possible, to relay these informations to maybe any house media so that it's known to the public. But again, if I can use today's example, you could see several media houses not trying to cover up the informations as they unrolled throughout the country. This was because, they were shaken the other day when the president told them, you know what, the media people, when you are trying to do your job, at least do it in a very decorum way that does not really implicate ways harder to us.
Jemo, nikukate kidogo. Do you think that 3 minutes will be enough for you? Because many people are requesting many people have hands up, and we don't want to. When you talk 10 minutes, then also other people will not be well. So can we keep it short to the right to the point for us to give everybody a chance?
Okay, okay, thank you. Let me shorten up. Now, having said that, there's another group coming up, and in fact, owing the fact that they're saying, "Oh, these people are faceless," leaderless, all that can be said, but it doesn't mean that they're not rudderless. So I really don't know how we can reach most of us with the same minds, because something is cooking up whereby we would want information to be relayed from each and every corner to a particular net. And this particular one now will be conveying messages to the whole world. Like, you see, this is what is happening. Like the most recent one that has happened in Zimmerman. Actually, we have seen in the media guys sending in clips like, hey, there are men here shooting aimlessly, just as it happened in Githurai. So this is what we need to do. This is what we need to ensure that our people have had the kind of reporting or the information by video clips or by audio if possible, so that the whole world is enlightened and they're shown on what is happening. Again, to add more on this, we were requesting if we can have another group that can actually come in and maybe fund such an organization whereby it would be very independent, and this will stream all the way to whereby we shall have now elections, just as the groups of a particular party organize themselves and have each and every poll station having their agents. So just like the government also sources
Thank you,
for
Jemo. Can you
people
wrap up?
who yes
Can you wrap up?
I'm finishing. So if you can remember, the government sourced for a company from all the way Dubai, Al Ghurair, that was trying to, cover up elections. This is the same way we want to cover ourselves with, such that we are not going to experience ways in which the government will again steal in the next elections. So in so doing, if we can reorganize ourselves and come up with such a scenario, then we are good to go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I think the point is home, and I'm requesting speakers make sure that remember there are other people who want to talk. It is morning, early morning. When you talk too long, people will leave, people will sleep. Other people have not slept yet, and it is morning, so it is important also to just direct the point. I think that will make ours move forward. Lady Justice, who is going on next? I would have been here,
It's
Nimrod,
Talk Chief.
Mkemeji.
Talk Chief. Then we can go to Woda Pala. Then we go back to Baba Love, please.
Hello, good morning, guys.
Yeah,
I hope
Nimrod, go ahead.
Hold on.
sorry.
Sorry. I made a mistake. Msemaji was here before Woda Pala. Could we switch that? Thank you. Go ahead, talk.
Okay, thank you very much for the space and my condolences and my heartfelt sorrow for the people who have been terrorized by the brutal regime which is going on in Kenya. My points are I wanted just to discuss two or three points. The first one being the police. Having studied military and police security around the world, that's what I specialize in. I will tell you one thing, whatever is happening in Kenya right now, the people who are doing these killings and the police who are doing all these atrocities, people need to be careful. You should not demonize the whole corrupt institution of police. I can guarantee you 60% of the current police officers who are serving right now, if they were given a freedom of choice, they will be in the street with everyone. That is a fact. That is a fact. And if you have monitored and actually paid attention to the people who are masquerading as police officers, masked and plain clothes, most of them, they have got a certain tendency. They wear hooded jackets, balaclavas, and then they move with unmarked police cars. They're not NSIS. And even if they're NSIS, I will tell you, these are selected people who have been selected through different sites or different areas and brought specifically for that job. Specifically, because even in the Mandamanus in itself, in the capital city, you've seen police officers, actually, normal police officers in uniform, in riot gear, down in their tools and said, no, we're going to slow down. We're not going to torture these kids, or we're not going to do fire aimlessly. But these people are coming out with no uniform, no IDs, no unmarked police cars. Because I don't want to call them police. These are not police. This is a specialized unit which has been brought in for that purpose, to actually suppress and actually cause shock and awe. If you remember the what happened in Iraq when the Americans were going, they call it shock and awe. That's what they are there to actually shock the population and instill fear into you, Lord. Okay, that's the first thing. So please, people need to be careful, because we don't want to bring the whole lot into one basket. Because remember, this is an ongoing revolution. We will need them one time, one day. This is another thing. KDF, the defense forces of any country, when there's an unidentified individuals and police don't take charge with arms shooting at civilians, I know there's people who work even with the defense forces of Kenya. What is your responsibility? What did you swear when you're passing out of parade? You never swore to defend Ruto. You swore to defend the flag of Kenya and the Kenyan people. How can you be sat in your barracks? The officers, I do not care. People need to wake up. In discipline forces, there is a law which you call lawful and unlawful law order. Lawful and unlawful order. And that's why you see, you look around the world, you have had service personnel get convicted.
Nimrod,
Yeah,
can you summarize, bro?
yeah, thank you.
Summarize, man.
And that is one thing I wanted to point out. The next thing is this: Gen Z, we've got time. Gen Z have got time. Make sure you let these people who are in doing this, make sure you let them know, even if it's going to take 20 years, you will go for them, because that's the only way you can change that system. That is the only way you can change that system, my people. If these people are made to pay the price, trust me, you will not have to force anybody to adapt to the system. Everybody will draw the line. That's how China became what it is. That's how Singapore became what it is today. Pay attention.
Ante.
Welcome.
Asante sana Tokis Chief for reminding us of the duty of the police and that they swear to protect the Mwananchi, not the president, not the barracks, not their leaders. Thank you for that. Let's go to Msemaji, then come back to Wadapala.
Thank you so much, Lady Justice, and the rest of the participants in the space. I'm really, really stressed and I'm really worried about the situation whereby a lot of politicians, a lot of members of the who were the past in the government are silent about the ongoing atrocities and the killings and the abductions, and Ruto normalizing this status quo. It's quite worrying. Haki inashangaza sana now. I'm even hearing that some of the people who died being burnt in this Kahawa place being cremated, and it is so worrying. It's so worrying the direction we are going. But we are so close as Gen Zs. We are so close, and justice will prevail soon. And what I want to urge the participants, there's some people who are very good with website developing. I think we can create a citizen website where we can upload all the videos, all the photos, all the evidence we documented in our single website. It could have been beautiful to document everything from 25th July up to date, whatever is going on. And I'm sure that one day justice will prevail. So inashangaza sana watu wamenyamaza na Githurai, Githurai was the first trial and watu never complained. Now imefika mahali Zimmerman pipeline, it is something which I cannot even describe what is going on. A lot of friends have been calling me from Kasarani up there, and they're telling me how things are. So much crying, and I can't even describe the pain they're feeling right now. The horror and the abduction people illustrates wanapitia, and some people are just silent about these. Inanishangaza sana. I think if Gen Zs they push for the next 2 weeks, I think the CDF or the military will take over, because they will say enough is enough. We cannot witness our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, our relatives in pipeline, in Mukuru, in Kasarani, Githurai, and all those places, being tortured and being killed and being abducted. We cannot tolerate. And I don't know, there's a lot of atrocities going around the world. I've been trying to troll those websites of Amnesty International. I think they just featured small part of it, but the human rights of Kenya, they're actively engaged. But I think itakuja kuwaramba siku moja, and I, I am for sure that Kenya has changed and we have eliminated the tribalism thing, and na hii mambo ya party na nini, I think it has been diminished, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful that Kenya is changing. So thank you so much.
Asante sana msemaji. I'm gonna pass the mic to Woda Pala, then Steve Juma, and then Baba Love. Woda Pala, finally.
Hello, how are you, Lady Justice,
Aber
JJ, and
kabisa.
Hillary?
I am well.
I hope you're good. Yeah, it's a sad time. I know normally in this kind of time, we normally go through jabber juice and some sort of things, and it's so sad that our government has placed us in a position of awkwardness. Now, I'm very sad that we lost so many people, and my condolences and every sympathies go to every family out there. I know it's been painful. Some people I knew, some I don't, but it's not a good picture that we're going through. Now, just to summarize what I'm going to talk about, the function of the government, the first and ever the primary, whichever reason why the governments are formed, just to protect the citizens. That should be the primary. If you cannot protect your citizens, you're paid. That's the primary function of any government. Now, it has been donated even to go back to any form of tradition and even our histories when we used to move through the caves. We formed those kind of movements so that you can sleep at night and not be worried that somebody is going to invade your premises and attack you from a neighboring community or from a neighboring country. So you assume that your chief will be a threat enough so that nobody will be coming for you. But this has been the opposite. Now, why am I saying that it's going to be the opposite? The government has been almost like the main cause of all our suffering, like perpetrating insecurity all the time. Talk of any moment that we've talked about goons or people are raiding somebody else's property, like what we saw the last time the ships were being carried. How long did it take the police to respond? Now, I'll take you back to some times back. There was a time when we normally realized that we had military might and all kind of tankers when a certain party declared that they were going to hold mandamanos. That was the only time you notice that, wow, Kenya has some sort of ammunition and some sort of military organizations. And why does this never occur to them that, okay, it is during that kind of threat that we're supposed to run for the help of citizens? Talk about the kind of photos that we've shared. Now, they were very easy. If you have to know that they're making a joke out of us. There were photos that were shared that somebody has just been caught, and the citizen responded with the photos, and you saw how fast they responded. Flip now the coin. The photos have been shared of somebody who goes around killing people in the name of the government. What has happened? Have they responded to any of those photos? Then you ask yourself why. So I think going forward, we need to really rethink about the government and its core function of protecting its citizens. If you're going to be dealing with a government that is working so hard to demonize citizens who are always looking for their rights, then I think we're in the wrong place. We are in the wrong place, and we are with the wrong government. So the moment the government fails to protect the citizens, that's a total failure, and that should be the cause of even calling it out and bringing it down. Anyway, I'm getting emotional. Acha niwachie wengine waongee.
Oh, pole sana Woda Pala. You know, us tulilia hapa for the past 8 hours. That's why I'm trying to lift up people's spirit, saying, "Oh, you know, I'm good." But really, we can never be good until Ruto is gone, until we've seen change in governance and all that. Um, One thing we normally do in this space is that we love for everybody to speak. So just keep it as precise as possible. And another important thing is follow one another. You see what happened yesterday with the Maandamano and the media getting gagged? The only way we can spread the word is when each and every one of us is connected with one another, so that if you post something I can see it and I can retweet it and all that. So let's do that. Let's follow one another, and when you followed, please follow back. I think the order was Baba Steve Juma, then Baba Love, and then we can go to Samuel Kusini.
Good morning, Daddy Justice.
Good morning, Steve.
Fine. When you start talking about issues that are now bedeviling Kenya, you get to a point when you don't know which matter to handle, what to talk about, because everything is at mess. Yesterday, I was shocked, not because of the ongoing mandamanos or protests, but the level of impunity that is in this country. There's something that happened yesterday that really can shock many of us. And it happened during the protest. They took advantage of the protest or the ongoing revolution to do something behind the scene. Remember, every crisis is an opportunity to others. Yesterday, and I maintain yesterday, at around 9 a.m., with total disregard to a court order, not one order, not second order, not third order, and then this is what is called in law wherever injunction. That is very strong court order. Kenya Pipeline Corporation paid individuals 4 billion sanne asubuhi. At a time, we are talking about there's no money. At a time, taxpayer is taxed from everything, milk to the last sweat and blood. This money went to a notorious city lawyer. You all know him. In a case where over 4 judges, including Justice David Majanja, was among the first people who recused themselves from the matter. You know the lawyer whose role is to intimidate judges and allege corruption cases against them, then they recuse themselves from the matter. So Kenya Pipeline Corporation, taking advantage, quote unquote, I know there are better lawyers here, took advantage of situation or the crisis, I would put it, at the edge. Can someone just mute the mic so that I get myself clear?
Go ahead, Sultan. Go ahead. I'll do that. Oh, Hillary, can you
Mok,
mute?
can you watch your mic? Mok,
Yeah, I can't.
mute
I
yourself.
can't. I can't mute
Okay.
him. Perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead, Juma.
So yesterday there was an order again in the morning restraining the same people not to use taxpayers' money in a case that will now appear to be a double payment of an oil construction pipeline that was done from Mombasa to Nairobi. Now, what the gist of this matter is, there were local contractors who were never paid. Now, these people paid the main constructor, who is a foreigner. Then they went concocted. In fact, there's a case of a forgery. That a forgery is what you call consent judgment that was forged by this notorious person, took it to Kenya Pipeline, and the money was released. Now, when there were court orders, we had, because we have sources of information, that there was a division at Kenya Pipeline Corporation. That was the other day. Today is Thursday. That was on Monday night. There was a division among members, but the lawyer said, and other legal lawyers there, let's just pay kesi baadaye. Now that happened. Mtu mmoja jamani analipwa 4 billion. Na September last year, the same character received another 2 billion kwa kaunti yake. This money inakulwa na kina nani? You all know who would authorize such amount of money to be paid to an individual account. An individual account. I will share the payment schedule, how it was done yesterday, those who are involved. I don't fear. This money belongs to Wanjiko. they should come for my neck if they want. I'm posting it on my timeline today, and it will be there. Now, look at the case where KPC is supposed to pay a company called Zakim. Read what is happening there. It is a bombshell. No one focuses about it because they have taken advantage of the situation today in the country. No one putting focus on what is happening there. The same to COVID. People focused on how people are dying. People focused on how reports were being made daily by Mutai Kagwe. But what was happening behind the scene? They were COVID billionaires. The same thing, as we focus on this crisis also, there are people now making their roots through. I made something like I would say lacuna at AG. There's no one to advise probably. So there's no AG to give any advisory on the payments. So an intruder, and God knows where they get their powers, can direct a parastatal, a government institution, to make such payment. Please visit Kenya Pipeline today. Uulize maswali hizi nauliza. No one is talking about these things. Haya, moving forward. I think when it comes to police brutality in Kenya, we've not really put these people to task. We have an institution, an independent institution, authority, oversight, the IPOA. These people, what is also happening there, no one is talking about. Their tenure, their term is ending. That institution is not funded. It is not funded. Hawana pesa. They are also disparate as other Kenyans outside here. That is something no one will tell you. How watu wanatoka kwa ofisi. I think the board is even is leaving the office by the end of this month. By the end of this month, I think they are barely in the office for the next 2 weeks or even 1 week or so, and they have been stiffed. They don't have money, and partly they also go to bed with the government. How would I pour someone public or ask public that come and assist us in recording statements on against police? Who doesn't know what happened to Willy Kimani? Who would want to face these rogue elements in the police? And like my brother would say there, we can't condemn the entire police. If these people are given opportunity, like he said, 60% would be on the street joining us in protest. But there are those rogue ones, the ones who are picked from different stations to come and use numberless vehicles. These are the ones who are appointed or who are brought to job based on their heights, the number of teeth, dental formula. They can't reason anything. They don't know anything. Those are thugs. Now, as I close my remarks, we are on the street as journalists today. We'll be protesting. And what we are still demanding, we want the Director Public Prosecution to put it bare. How many cases of police brutality that have been met among the members of Fourth Estate, especially in the line of duty? We can't believe in a country that all we can do is to condemn. If you read the script from my council, Media Council of Kenya, is about we condemn the attack against blah, 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 blah. The council is putting blah, blah, blah. Read the tone of IPOA. We condemn the action, the police brutality. And then what happened? These cases doesn't see the light of the day, probably gathering dust in the shelves. Yeah. Now, this has been happening. You've seen, and I will tell you, even the victims of the recent police brutality, they will not find justice. I don't know if people have got the copy from the DPP. I mean, dismissing all allegations against the police and saying that they don't have enough witness or enough evidence to support claims. Like the one you are saying, police seen shooting at the journalists and the protesters. In the report, it is there from the DPP. I would share it anywhere. Share your whatever, your DM or follow me so that I give you these details. It is, they are denying that they are also struggling to fetch more evidence to pin someone down. My last remark, I want to us to compel the IPOA to be in the front line during protest and do the watchdog or oversee the police misconduct or conduct during this protest. They should be in the front line. Like I see human rights, they always with the people during protest and to watch over the police excesses and record them. Here we have an institution, we pay taxes, we pay them, but they can't be on the ground. Wanatuambia tuwasaidie kufanya uchunguzi. What a shame. Thank you my people. Sisi kama wanahabari leo tuko kwenye barabara tukiambia ulimwengu kwamba haki ya wanahabari sio biashara ambao watu wanaweza fanya ya kufunga na kufungua, kukubali kitu nifanye na ile nisifanye. Sheria inasema kwamba hata serikali, hata vyombo vya dola havina uwezo wowote wa kujaribu kutuambia lile tunafaa kufanya kama wanahabari. Kwa hivyo wale ambao watajiunga na sisi mjitokeze wote kisha tujiunge pamoja ili tuseme kwamba tumekataa utawala mbaya wa kushurutisha vyombo vya habari. Tutakuwa huru, tutafanya mambo yetu kwa njia ya uhuru na kuhakikisha Wakenya wamepata ujumbe au maneno ambao wanafaa kupata. Labda tu nusu dakika. Juzi na niliwaambia katika haya faraga ya mawasiliano kwamba kulikuwa na mpango na barua ya kwanza ama vitisho vya kwanza viliendea Royal Media Services kwamba wasipeperushe ujumbe ama matokeo ambayo yanajiri katika haya maandamano, na walishurutisha RMS, na kwa hivyo jana uliangalia asubuhi hawakukuwa wanapeperusha haya, lakini pale walionelea kwamba KTN na K24 hawakukuwa nini sana vitisho kwao sana, na vile walianza jana, umeona hao watu they have gone ahead of now using or posting some posters around here purporting that KTN and other media houses are really propagating genocide in the country. These are things that are done with the likes of Akina Itumbi. Yeah. And the problem we have in this country, my sister, is that most media houses are owned by individuals, by politicians. That's the challenge we have. This one you cannot do to Al Jazeera. This one you cannot do to BBC. This you cannot do to CNN. Hapa sote tunajua, ukisema Citizen unajua biashara ni ya nani, na yeye pia anataka biashara kwa serikali. Ukitafuta KTN unajua biashara ni ya nani. Ukienda Citizen, National Media Group unajua biashara ni ya nani. So bado kuna shida, because ukiendelea unanyang'anywa license because ni biashara na ule mtu pia lazima apate pesa yake. That is the challenge we have in Kenya. Now, all members who are here, there's something called citizen journalism. Make good use of your phones. Stop listening to propaganda. Be your own author of information. Go out there. When a brutality is meted among to members of the public and you are there, don't be there to tell story. Stand out. Sema bwana, amwezi shika mtu kama mwambii wewe ni nani, jina yako ni nani, na munaenda na yeye wapi, na gari mumefunga. You have even the right to arrest. Yes, the citizen arrest. Members of public have powers to arrest. Arrest and hand over to the authorities. Hakuna vile mtu anaweza kuja kwangu kunishika na ajitaki kujitambua, ananiambia mbele, kwani mbele ni kwake. I'm also bitter. But hii mambo ya Kenya pipeline, jamaneni watu wangu, muende mkaangalie kitu ninawaambia leo. Shocking. And they have made sure no media coverage. No media coverage. Kesi ambayo imesikikwa na majaji 5 na wote wamejiondoa. Na wote wamejiondoa kwa hiyo kesi. Na pesa imelipwa jana. Tukipanga tukiwa airport, wengine wakiwa wherever they were, watu wanalipwa pesa, na sisi huku tunakuwa tear gassed mpaka water cannons zinaletwa kwa residential places. Tell me if that is not a crime against humanity. Tell me why would you tear gas at residential ambapo kuna watoto wadogo. Brutality. Thank you, my sister and my brother Hilary. I will join you later, but follow each other. I'm going to throw this on my posts, on my timelines, please, including the payment schedule nimewambia ya jana. So follow me. I'm also following those who are here, and then we build our space together. But make good use of citizen journalism. Record. I've been preaching, when you record anything by your phone, weka simu yako landscape, record. Sisi wenyewe ndi wanahabari kivyetu, tunajiambia mambo yetu. Don't wait for Citizen, don't wait for NTV, don't wait for CNN. It's our matter. Let's prosecute our own affairs in our own way. Do not depend on propaganda. Asanteni.
Asante sana, Steve. Asante sana. Thank you for reminding us of our responsibility as the people, and that we do have that power of citizen journalism. I heard a story yesterday of the people who were at the airport, that the police have come to a point where if you record and they see you recording, they actually make you delete it. There's a lady who was in a big trouble for that yesterday. So when you're recording, and if somebody is asking you to delete, this is something we're taught in media school. Anything you record in your device is your property. The police cannot force you to delete anything. Tell the police that is your property. You have recorded it in your property, so the video is your property. But while doing it, I would also just suggest that we stay careful, that at the end of the day, we don't find ourselves in trouble with these crazy people. So we're going to go to Baba Love, Samuel Alab.
Hello?
Endelea, Steve.
Sorry, wacha tu nipatie tu nusu dakika.
Okay.
How to deal with such scenario where someone compels you to delete what you've captured. Please, these phones, I know some of us have more powerful phones, record to 40 seconds. And the moment you've done 40 seconds, and on that position, ensure that your images are steady, kidogo tu. Throw it to any WhatsApp group. I hope you have groups. Throw it to any WhatsApp group. So by the time someone will be asking you to delete, it's already out there. So record to 40 seconds. If you do it to 1 minute, sometimes some of us have very cheap phones, it processes slowly to forward that clip. It's so huge for the memory maybe of the phone. But if you do 40 maximum and steady, you throw it there. Another thing, as you go for this protest, be on the side of the journalist. I mean, not to support journalists, but ensure that you are at a place where you are in front cameras of the mainstream media, and your colleagues should be also capturing the whatever happening. Then don't be alone. Don't walk alone. Be always in a group. Do not let yourself be found in certain corridors. That is where the clubbers of Baby Pendo will clobber you. That is who they are. Yeah. And don't listen to politicians. Do not listen to Raila Odinga, at least for now, until he comes out to condemn the police brutality and the champion for the compensation of Kenyans. Hatuko hapa kutafutianga watu kazi. Hatuko hapa kutafutia watu kazi. We went to maandamano ya Raila, ile wakati ya Uhuru must go, tukaenda Ruto must go, na juzi anatuuliza kwamba where do we want Ruto to go? The country is bigger than all of us. Ile wakati tunaendanga kama watu wanapigwa, watu wanauawa, watu wanapigwa, wengine tukasikia stories za body bag. Hizo stories zilienda wapi? What happened? So ulisikia story ya Iela, Winnie anapewa kazi. Mara Kalonzo Junior anatafutiwa kazi. Nani anajua baba Pendo na mama Pendo wanaishi aje sasa? Na many other Kenyans ambao waliuawa. Come on, tusibebwe ujinga. Hii nchi ni yetu. Kataeni hii mambo pia kupigia wanasiasa makofi, wanaongea wakipiga makofi. My sister, I have a lot in my heart, but this is my country. Mimi sihami Kenya. Wale wanasema oh, sijui wanataka kuhama Kenya, Kenya is bad. Sisi tuko hapa. What will I tell my kids? Ati wakati Kenya ilikuwa inaribika mimi nilitoroka? Hapana. I will tell my kid, look at this bullet, because I was fighting for this country. Yeah, we have to stand out. Let us not be cowards like akina Miguna wanaongea mingi wakiwa huko nje. Wakuje waongea hapo kwa ground, ndio tutajua tuko na wao. Asante sana.
Asante sana Steve. Aya, mwenzangu twende hapo kwa Baba Love, alafu Samuel, alafu kisha twende huko kwa Mungo.
Kuna swali ulikuwa
Karibu
unataka
Baba Love.
kuniuliza. Asanti. Kuna swali ulikuwa unataka kuniuliza wakati mic yangu ilikuwa imedrop sababu ya network.
Ni kama umekatwa bado. Can you
Bado
guys
nimekatwa.
hear him?
Can you hear me?
I can confirm from my end. I can hear him loud and clear.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, go ahead Baba Love basi. Mimi sikusikii but endelea tu.
Sawa. Kitu Steve amesema ni ukweli. It is time to fight for ourselves. These people will not fight for us. Me, whatever I saw yesterday, journalists being tear gassed, no, it cannot happen like that. And then kama si wale journalist kuwa na sisi, I believe hata pia sisi pia tungekuwa tumepata hiyo bullet. Unaona? So my appeal is this. We need to reform the electoral system. It is messed up major, and it is controlled by external powers which are even not in Kenya. Because nilimwambia experience yangu nimekuwa as an IBC official, as an election observer, and as a voter. Na wakati nilikuwa election observer, I remember tulikuwa na e-log. I asked the person in charge of us, nikamuuliza what is this? Integrity ya polling station ambayo iko open, iko vitu zimetawanyika, hii vote iko valid kweli? Na kulingana na sheria za IBC, any vote ambayo haiko housed si valid. And you know what happened to those votes? Those votes zilienda zikabadilishwa mahali on the way, zikafika tallying center, zikapitishwa. Kitu nashukuru ile picha evidences tulipiga that time ndio ilifanya kukuwa na repeat election ya Raila na Uhuru. But tulikuwa tuna celebrate birthday o jamaa. Let us be just serious about that. We were celebrating Uhuru's birthday kwamba anashinda. So what I would like to urge us, as we forge ahead, we should note that we need to change the electoral process to the point of it is so transparent hata mtu kuiba hawezi. Unaona? Kwa sababu ililetwa na mlolongo system, ikaja ikaletwa na hizi system zingine mpaka tumefika hapa private ballot, of which sijaona kama ina work. It does not work. And that's where the problem comes in when you're putting these people in. Identification. Me, personally, I did not vote this time round because after my experience in those three positions, niliona kwamba the system is rigged. I said to myself, does anybody ambayo iko kwa government side deserve it? All the governors, all the MPs, all the MCAs, no one deserves to be there. Ungeangalia hizi elections zilipita, the voter turnout was not 50+1. Hata Ruto alifanya kupewa hiyo kiti, and that's the truth. Let us call a spade and not a big spoon, and that is the truth. Tumeibiwa mpaka kura. Huyu jamaa mimi hata sijui alipitaje. Mimi sikuwa na expect apite. Mimi nilikuwa nangoja runoff, Raila ingie, tumweke kama ni miaka miwili aseme amezeeka, tupatie mtu mwingine tusonge na maisha. But sasa hii hapa huyu jamaa lazima ishie. And another thing,
Hosting without listening to somebody is difficult. Baba Love, unaendeleaje hapo? Kwa karibu kumaliza. Just wave for me when you're done.
Sawa. Bado kidogo tu nimalize. So
umemaliza? Pole sana. Okay.
Host,
sijamaliza bado.
The moment is done, I'll tell you.
Okay, sawa.
Sijamaliza. Sasa ndo what I'm saying is this. First of all, we need electoral reformation. That is something I am going to push for. That is something I'm going to advocate for. We need electoral reformation. Another thing, history ya polisi. We need police reforms. IPOA is toothless. Hata mimi kuna kesi mingi sana nimepeleka IPOA za dhuluma na polisi and nothing is being done. EAC pia ni toothless. Sahii niko na kesi ya shamba, kuna mtu amegrab shamba yangu Ocha na ametuzungusha. Imagine nalipa land rates. My land rates are up to date mpaka mwaka huu tumelipa land rates. And then some shitty motherfucker anakuja tu, yani ana grab land yangu na naenda nao. Imeniuma sana. Imeniuma sana. I have run to the county government at Taita Taveta County. Nimekotini, nimekuja Nairobi mpaka lands, nimekimbia kila mahali. Something has to change in this country. Mtu tuwezi kuja tayo akakuja kwa sababu mtu wake iko kwa Attorney General's office, anakuja na kuambia shamba si yako na mimi sitachukua title deed na sitafanya lolote, lakini kesi nitashinda. Mpaka jaji alinunuliwa man. Nimeenda kwa IPOA ku express kitu na kitu nashukuru ni kwamba Haki Africa ndo wananisaidia sasa hivi. If it were not for Haki Africa, I would have given up hope. I don't want to give up hope. I still want to keep on fighting. And guys, tuangalie hizi legislations ziko put forward. One thing that nimelearn ni kwamba for this financial bill na the appropriations bill kupita, there are certain bills zimekuwa zikipita from that previous financial year to this previous financial year. Hata najaribu kudigest what Steve was saying about KPC. I am getting mad man. Hata ile usingizi ilikuwa inajaribu kukuja nikisikiliza imepotea yani kabisa yani. So Hillary, let us continue with civic education. Lady Justice, Mwok, let us continue with civic education. People need to know the roles of people in the government, people to know their rights, and let us not falter. Amen. Kweni na siku njema.
You too, bro. Hillary is done now. You can pick up.
Oh, shukran. Oh, I must have missed a lot. Now I'm jealous. Let's go to Samuel Alafu C. Mang Mungo.
Okay, thank you, Lord Justice. I want to be very quick. Mine, I just want to give solutions. I don't want to vent. I've vented for a whole month. I'm tired. One is I was just looking at the answer we got from Bitok, why we have expiry of ID. And he said all other countries, they have expiry date. So this is now the challenge we're having. When we have answers, we don't know who to tell to. But for now, we are telling you. I think places like US, yes, IDs, they have expiry date, but what they don't understand is these other countries, they have like social security number or a specific identifier that is used, which does not expire. So that's one thing that we need to pass across to answer, because that's what he posted. I was trying to go through this answer why we have expiry date on our ID. So we need somebody to tell him that. Otherwise, without that number, our IDs, it will be a mess. Like when your ID expires, your record may disappear. Secondly is I'm requesting those people who host these spaces, can we be having some issues we can be able to vote? Like, have been having some small there are people who should attach something like they ask, should we do this? Should we have a council to run our affairs or should we not? So that's a first way of ensuring that those who are listening, they are able to participate in the debates we have. Like, so people vote on certain something. I've seen those attachments in other groups where people are voting like, should we have this? Should we not have this? What is your opinion on this? Yes or no? That kind of a thing. That's a solution. Is not about venting, because right now we need people venting and others giving solutions the way forward. Lastly, is we are talking about change. We can't change political. Our laws, our constitution as it is right now is okay. What we need to change are the people. Even if you bring the best voting system in the world, it will still be tempered in. Or if we cannot even open the current server to see what is there, even if you change that, won't help. So let's focus on, we want to get the right people first. Then from there, reforms of constitution, reforms of how we vote, reforms of what, pipeline, whatever. But as long as we have the wrong people, they'll continue paying those, they'll continue stealing that money. Then, so let's look at strategy. How do we get the right people first? And that can happen through having our own parallel government for the time being too. Then I want to answer somebody who talked about if we have a council, there's a fear there will be abduction. No. Big wigs, what we call them big wigs, they cannot be, when we have a whole organized big wig organization that is not either in opposition or in the government right now, it can they are not arrested. The people who are getting arrested are these small people who have no followers. So they cannot arrest. If you have listened to like Makore or these Tarus, the way they are speaking the media, if a small wig, somebody like me just goes to the media and speaks like that, tomorrow I'll be dead. I'll already been thrown in a quarry. Why are they not arresting Anfa? So when people are in limelight, they are very careful because that will whip a lot of emotion. So let's not fear something like if we have certain people, they may get whatever. No, we need to have a council that we know. That's my suggestion. Then lastly, if you have noticed, the brutality of the police is happening in places where there is a controlled UDA parliamentary members. So the police are working with the politicians. I know along Mombasa Road, they are working with somebody MP called Mutuse. That's why you hear people being shot in along Mombasa Road or wherever. That's why they are reporting to. In Mombasa, the moment Joho was promised to be a governor, and you saw the way the current governor is also pushing that they have somebody from Mombasa, they even banned there's a concert that was to be held by Boniface Mwangi in Mombasa, and they refused. So those are the politicians who are working with the police. So thank you so much.
Asante sana Samuel. Tuende kwa si Mungu. Mungu?
It's me. Hello.
Yes, ni wewe si Mungu. It's you, go ahead.
Thank you, Lady Justice, for giving me this opportunity to speak. I'm just going to keep it short and precise. Mtaniruhusu kuongea na Kiswahili. Mimi nasikia tu nimechoka. Nimechoka na hao watu, nimechoka na Ruto, nimechoka na regime yake. It's getting to a point that watu kwa ground saa hizi. Unajua, this guy is trying to push the narrative of tribalism. Na ukiangalia kwa Twitter venye inafanyika ni tribalism inakuwa pushed. Juu watu wanasema akitarget watu wazima, akitarget watu wa Gedho, ni watu wa ina target watu wa Kikuyu. And I'm trying to say I want to tell people this that hii si mambo na tribalism. Ukiangalia vida ule msi alishutiwa, najua kila mtu ameshaonea vida. Hiyo msi akishutiwa hakuulizwa wewe ni nani. Hiyo shot alishutiwa akiwa Mkenya. Hiyo video nimeangalia hivi nimepata tu uchungu. Hiyo video nimepata uchungu. Na najua itapatikana kwa media. The best you can do is push it to everybody so that everybody can see who we are dealing with. A lot of our parents wana realize sana na media. You know the media can, kama venye kuna msee amesema hapa, the media can be controlled. The same with CNN, Al Jazeera, Fox. Hasa wana control na do. Si tu tuna control na vitu tunapitia kwa ground. Share it. And remember, you are tribeless, political, hatuna political affiliation. Back to the basics. Hii kitu imeniuma. Watu huyu wametoka shule. Tear gas kwa nyumba yako. Place tu unafikiria tu uko safe. Uko safe. Nimechoka. Alafu unapata umeibiwa do. Ukienda kuprotest, una protest peacefully. Mnashutiwa kwa street. Sawa. Mnarudi nyumbani tena. Hii ni nini sasa? Alafu unasikia kuna watu wanajengo zao. Lady Justice, me, I'm just going to stop. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, it's a safe space to vent. It's a safe space to vent in. That's exactly why we started this space today. Part of the revolution is taking care of one another mentally. So I understand that there is time to find solutions, and everybody wants to find solutions. But on a day like this, especially what happened last night, we are allowed to just sit down and vent. And I'm sending you love, my brother. Ipo siku, ipo siku. That's the only thing I can say at this point. Ipo siku, when things are going to be better. Ipo siku, when we will look back and say that we are finally living in a better country, and we did our part to ensure that that was possible. So let's not give up. Let's if you
Yeah, Lady Justice, one, sorry to cut you short.
yeah,
I need people to understand this is not tribalism.
yeah.
They want to make it to this point of tribalism so that they can control. Remember when the colonists, when they came to Kenya, Africa was very difficult to conquer. Go back to the basics. It was very difficult to conquer. They had to group it. This is Kenya, okay? Kenya, it's very hard to conquer because there were small numbers. We had to call, sini wa Kikuyu, sini wa Kale. So divide them and rule. The same concept they are using. Remember, the police is the same British colonial system. These guys, they need a reform, totally reform. Because yes, wana change kidogo, same makara wote. Saizi, yes, kuna makara wako, saizi wana change kidogo. But ukiangalia, it's the same system. And it needs to change. To not be divided, hii mambo ya tribalism na nini. Ni si wote tunaumia. Si wote. Ule msi alishutiwa hapo, wakuuliza we ni Mchaka, we ni Mchikuyu, we ni Mkale, hapana. Wakiiba doo huko, waulizangi hii ya nani tutaiba? Ya watu wa hapana. Na mwende muangalie hizo projects mnapushiwa hapo kwa sijui na hawa mabloggers wa gava. Mwende muangalie vizuri. Ndio mjue zile projects mnapushiwa hapo ni projects zilizo zimefanyikana na Uhuru. This guy has done nothing. With all that money he has borrowed. Nothing. Ile pesa yote Uhuru aliomba for 10 years. Yes, Uhuru aliomba na akapora. Everybody knows that. But tuliona SGR, tuliona expressway, tuliona markets zikijengwa hapa na pale. Hakuna kitu tumeona hizi miaka mbili. Kwanza sio unapeleka doo wapi? Sasa unapeleka doo wapi? Alafu unakuja kuchapwa bunduki ukiprotest. Na watu wa Nduthi pia wanalipa. Hii ni nchi gani tunaishi? Mimi niko na uchungu bwana. Mimi niko na uchungu. Hii ndio nchi tutaachia watoto wetu.
Ipo siku itakuwa sawa, mwenzangu, itakuwa sawa.
Huyu msi akitoka, pelekwe hega ama Kamiti. Pelekwe hega ama Kamiti. Tumechoka bwana.
But there's history in Africa where we've had some of the worst leaders in the world. If you travel, is it Congo, and you look at the Mobutu Sese Seko, palace, it's nothing right now, and the guy was something else. So at the end of the day, leaders who do not take care of their people have a way to just disappear, and sometimes nature just takes care of itself. And I hope President Ruto is hearing the cry of the people, and actually, if he's truly a man of God that he says he is, he should be doing what is right, because right now nobody is interested in Ruto leading them, and it doesn't matter whether he was elected democratically, by the people invading the parliament. They had already exercised their vote of no confidence in the leadership, And by the parliament being fired, the cabinet being fired, we'd already shown that we do not want anything to do with the current leadership. So there's nothing that we're doing here so far that Ruto doesn't know about and what these things mean. So he could help us do the necessary. We know that we stand in the line where Gachagua takes office for a few months. And as we prepare for election, we know that that's the procedure. But at the end of the day, it's something that the country wants. You cannot force yourself into leading people. That would be the most disgusting thing ever. To even if like right now that things change and he doesn't go home, like it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. So I hope he's listening and he can be able to uh, to feel what the country is feeling right now and just say he could do it in a beautiful way where he just come and say, look, I had intention of leading you people. I thought I knew it all. I thought I had all the skills, but unfortunately I got somewhere and I couldn't do it in a way that I thought I could do it. And then you go back home and people, if it's a celebration, you're sent with a celebration. But this matter that it has to be kids dying every day and kids being shot at and tear gassed and all that, we cannot continue like this. We have to be better. And nyi watu wa boda, hata kaa uko hapa kwa space ama umejua mtu wa boda alikuwa maandamano jana, ametoka hapo sijui anakuja na stori zake sijui nini nini. My friend, huo umekaa hapo nje utachomwa na jua kila siku. Hiyo ndudhi yako saa zingine pia hata hujailipia, ni kalon tu uko nayo. Sasa utakujaje unapiga watu wenye wanapigania haki yao? Wapi akili hapo? Wapi akili? Tusaidiane. We kaa hutaki kupigania hii ukombozi, basi na we uende tu zako, achana na wenye wanapigania zao. But ufai kuwa sasa umekuja pale unazuia watu wenye wako na misheni yao, na we sasa misheni yako is just very short-sighted because somebody gave you 200 shillings or 500 shillings that can't even feed you for a day. Tukue watu wenye wako na akili. Hii kitu yenye tunapigania hapa, then the debt that the country has that we have to pay as a country is so much that wewe mtu wa boda utakuwa unaenda hapo unatengeneza hiyo 500 bob yako. Umejua watu kaa boda, they don't feel the pain cause mara mingi hawafanyi nini? Hawana pay slip. But bado utafeel hiyo pain kwa vitu zenye gharama ya maisha ikipanda. So let's be careful. Hizi sio mambo tu. We're not just out here saying, this system of rootism has to go just because, we hate Ruto or anything. We have nothing to do with the human being, with the person. We have a problem with the actions. We have a problem with his agendas. We have a problem with his priorities on how the leadership of the country is, on the direction of the leadership of the country. So tuwe watu wenye wako na akili wenzetu. Hii kitu imetushika. Na vile mwenzetu alisema hapa kitambo mwanzoni 3 hours ago that the debt yenye tuko nayo much that we are paying today, next year we are even going to pay more. But do you know the painful part is we still do not know mali tutatoa pesa ya kulipa hiyo debt. Hatuna tukiangalia income
na watu wanatoa 4 billion
na kuna income yetu hata
na
tukiangalia as a country it does not match with what we are expected to be paying in terms of debt.
Lady Justice, I know I'm intervening. I'm objecting others who want to talk, but I've received messages when I spoke, to make real my threats of exposing the rogue. I have done it. I've posted it. Follow me. Read it. I've put out the payment schedule how it was done yesterday. and you people visit Kenya pipeline who totally disregarded the existing court order. Nasikia uchungu sana kama 4 billion inapewa foreigners inaenda 4 billion. I think it's 25 US dollars. Ililipwa jana. 25 million US dollars. Ililipwa jana. Imeenda hivyo. Na hapa tunalia hatuna pesa, Kenya ananyanyaswa. Alafu local contractors ambao subcontractors wameachwa hapa na kutafuta mambo yao pending bills kama kawaida. Yani kuna wale wanalipwa with all that impunity, wakisema kesi baadaye. Wewe ambaye ulikuwa hapa ukachukua loan kujenga vitu, kusupport contractors, kutengeneza nini. Munaona hizi masaibu local contractors wengine wanapitia. Una supply kitu mahali, unauza mashamba yako, alafu ikifika malipo, foreigners wanalipwa pesa, watu wanaenda kukutana na Highlands kugawana pesa kule. It is a scam. Imetaja mpaka bank inaitwa Ecobank kuwa used. It is a scam. I am telling you, this is a big hot potato. I've posted whoever received the money and how they received it. The names are there. You'll be shocked. The characters of names in your kopali. Thank you. Now you can go tweet and reshare. Thank you.
This is very bad. That's, countries that pretend to be very developed, but they still come to Africa to siphon resources back to their countries. I'm like, show us your humanity. I know there are businesses that you do, but I'm not for this idea that mtu anakuja hapo Kenya anachukua 10, hata kama ni 5 billion amechukua, he doesn't live there, he doesn't spend the money there. Hiyo ni pesa ya wananchi imebebwa imeenda mahali. It's not fair to a growing economy. And then huko majuu utasikia wakisema, in Africa they are suffering. In Africa they depend on foreign aid. While actually the foreign aid is coming from Africa to the Western world. It's really, really disgusting. It's not fair. Those people should be ashamed of themselves, especially at this point when the country is undergoing such a financial crisis that somebody comes in and just takes like that. It's not smart. Vince Babu, tafadhali endelea. Sikusikii, Vince. Can you all hear him? Vince, it looks like you might need to go. You might need to go out and come back, please. Just exit the room and come back, and then we will let you in again. Nani hajaongea hapa? Hebu ni nani anataka Jasiri, hebu sema kitu. Most high, mkono iko juu, endelea alafu Jasiri.
Hello, morning. Hello, morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So, I was saying, we need to strategize in a way to just finish with this, how to finish with this government once and for all. Like, can't we have just one MP that will present a motion of impeachment kwa parliament, and then we tujae huko kama 25th vile tulija. Just one MP. Na tuambie kama wanatoka hapo na president ni vita mpaka mwisho nao. Because that's another option. We can have, as in kusema kweli, mtu anakuja anapigwa risasi mpaka kwa gate. It is now all out war. Hatuwezi sema sahi ati sahi ni war. Kama unaweza fuata mpaka wa mama na tanka tunawamwagia maji. It is an all out war. Tunaweza have Babu Owino ama Salasi ama anyone aende ake impeachment kwa nini kwa bunge. It is something that can happen. Mbona tunafanya nikani kitu ngumu? Naambia tu Babu Owino go and enda uimpeach, uneni uweke motion ya impeachment. We have another option pia, tunaweza tunaweza anza kumobilize watu wakuje kutoka Kisumu, kutoka Rift Valley yote, watu wakuje Nairobi na tu cause kama tunafuatwa mpaka ndani ya nyumba, nini inafanya tusiende State House? Cause it's death anyway. Kama tunafuatwa mpaka ndani ya nyumba, mbona tusimobilize tu watu basi zijae Nairobi, twende State House mara moja? Kani kukufa, it is now obvious. It is now obvious anataka kuua kila mtu. He might as well do it now. Alafu mtu yote akuja kusanitize sijui Uhuru. Jamaa asema sijui Uhuru hakufanya hivi. Uhuru was doing it, but because it was not to you, because ilikuwa ni si kwenyu, don't sanitize anyone. Hata Kibaki si ati alikuwa mzuri. We are at a point that tunaambiana ukweli na tunatoa impunity yote. Tukiwa watoto watu walikuwa nakatwa hapa Mathare 207 because it did not concern Kikuyu, they did not care. But unacheki hiyo roho, hiyo kitu ni kitu tunafaa tutoe. Ndio mnaambiwa toeni tribalism. There are people who are doing this because ni Ruto, si mtu wao. But it's not about that. It's about kukua na ukweli, kuweka ukweli kwa roho yako. Si ati tukuja hapa tupigane hivi vyote, alafu mkuje mtuletee ishungwa tena. Mtuletee sijui aitwa Faith nani huyu mama alikuwa na pesa huyu. Mtuletee sijui Kimani sijui Kuria. Surely, kwani nyinyi hamkuagi na akili ya kupiga kura? Everyone is a vagabond. Everyone you voted for is a vagabond. Alafu unakuja kutuambia ati Uhuru was good. Uhuru si ndiye alikuwa anatoa watu Kondele na Sondu akipiga? Ama who was it? Kibaki si ndiye alikuwa anaua watu Mathare na Kibira? And you did not care because it was not your tribe. Now you are coming to tell us ati Uhuru was better. Uhuru was not better. Kibaki was not better. We need to change, and the problem is not the presidency or anything. The problem is the system. And that's why everything needs to change. Everything. Utaniambia ati sasa umeenda kuvote ati sijui Ruto ametutengezea vitu tumeenda kuvote ati things will change. It will not change. Ruto owns the IBC, Ruto owns the court. So hata ukimshinda na nini ataenda kwa koti. Ruto owns the police. So please stop sanitizing. Stop. Tumekaa hapa tunawasikiza sijui mna scream juu ya Ruto. We hate Ruto, all of us. But usikuje kumsanitize na Gachagua. We don't care about that. They go all together, wote pamoja. So whatever we are saying it as one. Hakuna tribalism, hakuna sijui ukuje utuambie nani atakuwa president. For now we don't want that. For now we don't want sijui hizo what are you saying? You want to make some sijui watu kadhaa they will be bribed kama vile wakina Osama walibraibiwa. We don't want all that. We deal with this now the way it is. Alafu after hiyo tutaamua huko mbele nani atakuwa leader and what will happen. Thank you very much and have a nice morning all of you.
Asante sana most high for your contribution this morning. Lazima tuamke kichwa. We are not doing this just because it's Ruto. No. We're doing this because we want change, and it's not about tribe. And most high amesema vizuri sana. You know, not unless you are part of the people that were facing Uhuru's brutality, you wouldn't know. There are people in Kondele, people were killed. In Kisumu, Nyalenda, people were killed. You know, you remember there was a time Raila went for I don't know, it was a rally, and he got to the grounds, and the ground had mavi, and they'd say that Sonko alimwaga mavi pale. So we've had some weird governments as Kenyans, and at this point, I believe we are all tired and we just want change. I see Vince is back. Vince, I'm gonna give you a head. Then we go to Trends, then Mama Kega.
Okay, thanks, Lady Justice. And can you hear me?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Thank you so much. I'm just upset with everything, like everyone else. But I just want to, I'm just trying to reflect. Like, it is so hard that people are even finding it hard to survive with this current economy. And as if it's not enough for the people are suffering, are struggling, people have to be killed with the police. And I wouldn't want to blame directly the president for the police brutality, because the police should be human enough to know that they're not supposed to kill innocent people. So we really need to hold accountable these rogue policemen and women who are doing this. And it's just, I don't know when is enough. I hear the president say enough is enough, yet he hasn't seen enough yet, because the constitution says that we can picket any time of the day, every day, for 365 days. And then I just want to come, and I think the last two speakers or so, there are things I want to agree with them, and there are things I will just want to maybe have a different opinion. Especially, someone say that, Uhuru borrowed money, but at least we saw the SGR being built. We all know how much SGR has costed us, how much they've looted through that SGR. We should not settle for less. We should not settle for less. You can't say that at least he has cleared the bush, but there were 10 billion or how much to do the roads. So at least walieka maram, at least walifanya hivi. No, we need something to be done. Kama ni barabara imetengenezwa, there are people, and I want to tell you this. When the contracts are given, especially for the roads, I just want to speak about that. When the roads are given money, like the contractors are given money to make the roads, there's so much they budgeting. And one of them is detours. And if you have traveled on a road that's being constructed in any part of the country, there is no detour. And that detour, if there is any detour, inakaa kama potholes. If you go through that with your car, you know next time you're going for service, because potholes. But any detour, any kind of detour, should be as good as the former road or better, or the road that's coming up. So people go and when they get the contracts, they have to give kickbacks. So that kickback is supposed to make that detour. So they eat the money for detour. It's supposed to make drainage. They give that as bribe. So we end up having done nothing. And then we come here and say, at least he did grade the road. At least there were graders on the road. There's nothing like at least. We deserve better, and we have to demand better. So we have to be very specific and very categorical that we need Kenya to get better services because we deserve it. Another thing, when you look, I remember Martha Wangari Maathai when she was talking about the story of a hummingbird, when the hummingbird was going to get water from the river to come and try to stop the fires in the forest. And all the big animals were saying, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I said, I'm doing what I can. I'm doing that little that I can to make it better. So I want to urge us that, can we now tackle? I know we are on the right track, but can we now tackle institutions one after the other? For example, we have issues with the immigration. The passports take forever. Can we tackle that immigration? That we can even position people to go and apply those passports. And if they go past 1 week, which is supposed to be the maximum of getting a passport, if it goes past 1 week, we need to go and occupy that Nyayo house and demand that Kenyans have to receive their services. If it is the hospitals, if the Ministry of Health is not giving medication and all the requirements of the hospitals, we go there and find out there's nothing, that you're treated and you're told go buy medication in the pharmacy next door. You know, that's the pharmacy of those doctors, from those rogue nurses who are sending you there. So we have to occupy those spaces, that we have to demand better, because no one in Kenya deserves to die because of lack of medication, because everything has been budgeted for. Where does it go? So we have to occupy specific institutions, specifics. Even as we put pressure on the presidency, we should not forget that even the other institutions are bleeding Kenyans, are just milking us dry, and we are going to die soon, focusing on the presidency, but the other people are all milking us dry. So we have to focus, and we have to do it day and night, not stopping. No one has seen enough yet, but we just have to be categorical, specific. We know, like JKIA, if they want to sell JKIA, we cannot allow it. We can, even if they stop us at Maradaima, we will occupy every institution, and we have to be very, very intentional. Thank you so much, Lady Justice.
Asante sana mwenzangu for that contribution, Babu. We're going to go to Trent 665 alafu Mama Kiga, please.
Just a minute.
Trent, the floor is yours.
Just a minute. Give me 5 minutes.
Oh, Mama Kiga.
Okay. Hello, Saseni. I just want to first send my condolences to the people who've lost their lives very unnecessarily because of all the violence from this crazy man. Also, another thing, I just wanted to say, so many of us abroad. I'm currently in Australia. I'm just a stay-at-home mom, and I've been following this thing to the T. We are here. We are cheering you on, and we can't. We're also praying and holding our breaths for our country, and this is so unfortunate what's happening. Another thing I wanted to say, correct me if there's anyone who has a lot more military knowledge than I do, but all the politicians are bad, all of them. There's nothing like send someone to help us or speak for all the politicians, all of it. They're in it, they've tasted blood, they're all bad. I'd even say, I know there's some names being thrown around, but I think anyone on the inside is not capable of getting us out of this mess. They are responsible for putting us into it, no matter how small a part they played. And with this, I wanted to see if people have had the same thought about involving the military. I know we are scared of the military all the time. We are told, but if you look at what Ibrahim Traore is doing, what the Sahel regions have done, and another thing, they call us a democracy, right? The president's title is Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Shouldn't he have some form of military background? Because in case of any attack, the military is going to look at him. He now becomes a commander-in-chief. So I feel like before the white people, because Kenya is a sweetheart to so many other white countries. Kenya is a sweetheart. You guys are a gem. We are a gem. They are looking at us right now. Everyone is watching this thing. But even here in Australia, so many companies have mining rights in Kenya. So many. Their money, they're looking at money because Kenya is like their money to them. They're looking at us like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I feel like if we approach the military before these white crackers approach them with money and dollars, have a civil conversation. Because now this guy is killing, and he's not using the military, he's using the police. He's killing innocent. He's literally going, imagine kwenda to Zimmerman, get the right. People, watu wako kwa manyumba zao, and then you're just opening fire. This is insane. This is na hata wayacha. Because again, so many people wenye wanamcontrol wako na interests and they don't want things going good. Hizi vitu ni by design. That's another thing. Let's just, hata kama we approach Ibrahim Traore and ask, how did you do it? How did you kick out the West, the white people, all these evil people controlling? Hao ndo watu wanafund hizi corruption. They allow it, they enable it, wanajua, and in turn, they get so much out of these African countries. Alafu kitu ingine, it's such a young population. Economy yetu sahi, wacha niwaambie ukweli, we are so far much richer than all these other white countries. Ukumbuke sisi we are young. Average median age is 19. Huku kwa wazungu wenye wanajiita first world countries, they are very, very old. Ndio maana sisi tumeletwa huku tufanye kazi, tulipe tax, ndio tuwasaidie waishi venye wanaishi. We are just here to pay taxes for the boomers in white countries. Hakuna story, oh, Ruto anaambia jobs abroad. No, the reason they make all these jobs available is so that you go and fund their population juu ni wazee hawajazaana kama sisi. So it tells you just how young, strong economy zetu ziko, just how they are, as dilapidated, as corrupt, as venye tu zimefanyiwa, they are still strong. Ndio maana hawa watu wako na interest. Kama tungekuwa na anything, wangekuwa wametuacha a long time ago. But oh, sorry, okay, mtoe wangu. But they have a lot of interest. Sawa. And hiyo story ya mining, by the way, hii kitu inanikasirisha sana. Place naishi Australia, I hope hawanisikizi, but hii place ni desert. Desert, hakuna kitu inamea, they have nothing. They import more than 60% of chakula yao. Yet, they are richer than African countries. Mining yao imeboom. Hao watu wamepata pesa juu ya mining. And they have less than 20, hata sasema 20%, even less than 10% of the mining resources tuko nayo. Just Kenya alone. Yet huku hao watu wako na pesa, wametengeneza hii desert imekuwa first world country. They are lazy, hawafanyi kazi, yet they get money in their account every fortnight. Because ya economy yao na haina watu, ndio maana tuko hapa, hawazani. You can imagine the levels Kenya, hata Kenya tu pekee penye tunaweza fika kutoa tu hao watu military. Me personally, kama kuna mtu anaona my suggestion ni mbaya, but these people are using arms, wanaua watu, and they will keep killing and killing. Why not use the armed forces? I'm pretty sure they do not respect this man. Wanaona potential ya hii country. It is so great. Imagine kila mtu anaweza kuwa, the government could be actually taking care of people. Huku ukizaa, government ya Australia inakutumia pesa. Ukizaa, chunga watoto wako. I'm pretty sure the same can be done in Kenya. Africa yote, tuko so rich. The reason hizi countries zenye zingine ziko rich ni because most of their interests ziko Africa. Na hawa watu hawatawahi acha. Akina Sugoi Butcher, they have just been blinded by small dollars, not even realizing the country has potential 10 times, not even 10,000 times. Hizo madollars wanaonyeshwa, you know? And they don't want to, hawana akili. Did you see the Akina Wetangula when they were announcing Soipan? They were just laughing. Like it's a laughing matter. Ministry of Defense. These people, anyway, thank you for the opportunity to talk. And na I agree with everyone. Kila mtu amesema tuendelee kukasirika, and we need to start having permanent solutions zenye zitaacha these killings, the senseless killings, ndo zinaumiza kabisa on top of the already horrible economy. Asanteni sana kwa listen to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mama Kega, for that submission. You know, you've touched on something that I just wanted to add some pressure point on. You know, one thing that Ruto does not understand is that he's sitting on gold. Kenya as a country, even our young people, we are gold, and we don't have to go outside the country for the country to be successful. He can even start by just reviving a few industries, and we become the next China of Africa. Kagame is doing it in Rwanda. It's happening. So it's all possible. It's all possible. Me, I have a message to Baba. Maramingi, I'm always Baba's daughter. But today I'm like, Baba, you know, you out there and we're fighting here. We want you to be very, very clear with us. We want you to be strategic. The only conversation you should be having with Ruto is pretty much, you know, we want accountability for the deaths, for the abductions, and we also want accountability for the people that we want in leadership. Us, we don't want dialogue with Ruto. We don't want, what are we saying with Ruto? We've already said everything that we needed to say the past 1 month. So, Ruto, the only thing we want you to go the same way we had we had made the message clear that your cabinet should go. And at this point, Baba, be the Baba we know. And work on Ruto, not work with Ruto. Work on Ruto so that the desires of the common wananchi can be met, because literally Kenyans are tired. You can't walk into a house in the evening and start shooting. You're shooting somebody when they're asking for the door to be opened for them so that they don't get shot, but you're still shooting them. Like, that's just unnecessary. That's unkind. That's not acceptable as far as our human rights are concerned. So baba, wewe ongea na huyo Ruto tafadhali. Haya, tukiendaga Jasiri, alafu tuende hapo kwa nani, Africano. No. Jasiri, JM Karaoke, alafu Africano. Inakaa huyu Jasiri hayuko hapa. JM, please go ahead. JM.
Same karaoke. Can you ask? Wako unajua, wapatie mwingine Lady Jess.
Okay. MK, tafadhali go ahead. Huyu MMK ameingia tu hapa saa hizi, so I don't believe that she's not here. Alafu Africano pia yuko hapo after saa zingine watu hawajui jina yao. Mercy Marcos, tafadhali. Huyo pia yuko. Africano, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud.
Um, thing. Where this guy wants to take us is going to be something very crazy. And I think it's a call out for everyone to try our best to try stop what is going to happen to this country. Tunaipenda sana, and unfortunately, it's a country that you don't want to live in. Like right now, everyone feels like this is not my country anymore. But it's something we can do about it. That's my submission.
Thank you so much, Africano. Lady Justice, go ahead. Please
Thank
come.
you very much. Nchi yetu ya Kenya tunayoipenda, tuwe tayari kuilinda. Okay. Next we had Africano has gone, right? So Kipla, go ahead mwenzangu. Alafu extrovert Sony.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. I just want to chime in a little bit to say a few things. So, I've been listening, and I was trying to kind of like relate to my home area where I was brought up. A lot of people back home. I was born in Bomet, and there's a lot of protests really recently about the governance and the way money has been used in the county. But if you look at it keenly, a lot of these young people, they don't have jobs. I remember back in, I think, 2016, I finished campus and I was looking for a job really. But the public service board is really corrupt. They just employ relatives, the people they know, the people they have connections to. So I'm just giving this as a context to say that even though there's a lot of activism from people that are, let's say, that have like access to, maybe internet and resources, there's a lot of other people out there. I can tell you right now, people that are just blindly following Ruto. And just by the virtue of the fact that Ruto is like, oh, this is our person. It's the most stupidest way of thinking that I've tried as much as I can to convince these people. Some of them are really dumb. Now, I think the issue is it's the parents and the people that they found. They're like the people that were ahead of us, that they're very conservative. They would rather just leave things the way they are than fight for a change. But there's a few of us, not just a few of us, there's a lot of us really that, yes, we're Kalenjins, but we see we see through bullshit, right? So it doesn't matter who is in power. Even if it was Kibaki, even if it was Uhuru, I'd still shout, right? So, and that's how this spirit should be. Like it doesn't matter who is in power, who is, as long as that presidency is not respected, as long as the constitution is not being followed, everybody that's supposed to take care of Kenyans, anybody that's in power, should be rooted out. That's why we must we must stand tall in this fight. Kiswahili kidogo, I hope nitakumbuka, imepotea potea kiasi, it's been a while. Lakini nataka kusema kwamba niko na uchungu sana, sababu Kenya ni nyumbani. Niko na kila mtu, iliacha wazazi, na marafiki huko, na kila wakati nikirudi nahangaika sana kuona kwamba kuna vitu ambavyo haviendelee vizuri. Kwa muda ambao nimeona Gen Z imekuwa ikifight, if I was there, I swear I'd be I'd be still agitated. I'm trying to do the best that I can, hata kama niko mbali. I'll assist the best that I can, on my end here. I'd rather just burn the midnight oil, like listening to you guys. It's just amazing that there's a lot of activism right now. Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard somebody. So I'm saying that you know, the whole issue is that the presidency hasn't been respected. The governance structures are not working, and the fact that, you know, I don't want you guys to be discouraged that, oh, you know, we when we call for protests, few people show up. I can assure you this, there's a lot of Kenya, all youths in Kenya are suffering. It's just a lot of them are afraid to fight. They're afraid to, you know, they think they'll be abducted and all that. And, you know, again, the same Mtuwetu syndrome is, it's just, it's obnoxious. Like, you can't be fighting for somebody that's oppressing you. The day these people wake up, it will be maybe another 20 years, and we're fighting for them. You know, just like Moy was in power for 24 years, he actually kidnapped Kenya for 24 years because there was not a lot of work people then. You know, I mean, there was a lot of people fighting, but it's not as intense as it is right now. Right now, the Gen Zs, the young people like us, we can read through bullshit. We read the Constitution. We see what you do. We can actually uh, we can actually interview people and tell them, oh, why are you approving this? You know, I like the online conversation, the things that we see, and we question everything. That's not what our parents did. They would just, you know, say, oh, that's okay. You know, just let it go. Forgive them. They'll change. No, that's not how it is. If somebody's given one chance and they squander it, let them go home. There's no wasting of resources. We don't have all the time in the world.
Right.
Um,
Right. Thank you so much. We have many requests.
yes.
Many requests. So you can summarize a little better. Msifu wewe funga mic bwana. That is that kabana. Msifu.
Hello.
Yeah, Kipla was saying that if you can wind up a little better because we have several requests and
Oh, yeah, yeah. Let me summarize by saying I wanted to, you know, talk about.
Mo kuko hapa kweli? Or you're not here?
Yeah, niko
Okay.
hapa.
Then you just go ahead with Mo. Thank you.
Yeah, let me end real quick. So I was looking through all the reports that have been made in Kenya. There's almost like 10 reports, like since like 2000, THRC. None of these have been implemented. We just need one person to be elected that can actually implement, even if it's one or two reports, it will fix a lot of things in Kenya. So um, I don't think Kibaki did a good job, neither did Uhuru. So, and we can see halfway, Ruto is just gonna gonna make this country way worse. So, uh, um, the next person really should be the person that we choose very carefully. So the next vote, I didn't vote last time, but me voting this time, it will be strategic, and let's be wise, guys. Keep the fight. Ruto must go. We'll fix this nation. Thank you.
Oh, asante sana Kiplako H. Thank you everybody in the room. Welcome. It's a pressure point. We this morning we're talking about we started the conversation with what was happening out in Zimmerman, and then now we are looking at what are we doing next from here, and we are also allowed to vent. And the mission is still one and only: Ruto must go. So we have so many people in the room. Thank you for joining in for our people journalism to thrive. Let's follow each other. This is very important, considering yesterday we saw the media not able to really share the information of what was happening on the ground. So we had protesters on the ground, and maybe they were sharing, but they didn't have big following, and the word can't get out there. To avoid that in the future, let's follow one another. and let's keep the movement going. So I'm going to go next to MK. Please go ahead, and then I'll come back to Pastor. Is that Pastor J?
Good
Please go ahead,
good morning, everyone.
MK.
Good morning, everyone.
You were here earlier on.
Yeah, I was here but nika drop. Ni allow nitumie Kiswahili tafadhali.
So you know what's funny,
Okay.
Hillary? On my end, it looks like everybody's connecting. Could that be my connection or their connection?
I don't know if I mean naweza msikia, I can hear, so I think
Okay.
might be you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Nakusikia vizuri sana, endelea.
Okay, so nilikuwa nasema hivi, mimi ni like let me call me myself, naweza jiweka kategori ya kina mama mboga, and I'm a mother to a Gen Z and a Gen Alpha. And for now siwezi tokea maandamano, but ningekuwa na opportunity ningetokea. I've been having this like a way ya kuingia na yenye mnaweza tumia. Nimekuwa nikifollow hizi spaces na nikajiuliza kama mnaweza ingia on a day kama venye mliingia jana and not go home, cause kama mkienda nyumbani mnafuatwa. Why don't you people go and gather in a space? Unaona kama hata ile space watu use skate Sunday, that area you sit there. So if kama wanakuja kuwaua wawaulie hapo, tukiona sisi wote, you know, it's very sad and it's very hard. Imagine, like, for me, I'll give you a scenario. I have a child in this government school. In the beginning of a term, I paid 6,000. Then on a weekly basis, I have to pay the school. Mtu wangu aliniambia ni pesa ya darasa, like at 100 bob weekly. I have to pay for food kwa shule. Nafaa ninunulie mtoto vitabu. Unapata kwa term umetumia almost 10,000 yenye hauna. It's very bad. Inauma. Ile pesa kidogo yenye tunapata alafu wanatutax. Plus wanaenda wanaua hadi watoto wetu kwa maboma. Jana I saw a guy being shot kwa mlango. Unasema nifungulie, unashutiwa. Who does that? So my opinion was, mkienda hiyo maandamano msitoke tao. Msitoke. You go sit. Like mi huona hata kwa news nikiona au mapolisi wakithrow hizo canisters, unaona watu wamedisperse. Why don't you guys like walk in groups? Na hata wakithrow, if you have those things zenye zinawa protect, msinhale hiyo gas, mpige magoti hapo. Kama mtu anawashuta washoot. The good thing is, like mimi watch news ya mainstream, so tuko na hizi zenye tuna watch YouTube channels, so we see what's going on, unaona. And I'm very sure if sisi tunaona pia kuna wengine wanaona, cause sijui vitu nyingi vile sana, but nimekuwa nikifuatilia hata history za nchi zingine, nikaona kama hiyo kuna ya Egypt yenye people went and sat down in the square and something was a change came. So I think hii tu ita solution ni kukosa kutoroka hiyo, kukimbizana nao polisi. You go to town, mpatane tu mahali mketi, and if it's for a week we'll bring you food. Nyinyi ni watoto wetu, tutawaletea chakula. I don't know what else to say. But Mungu tu akomboe Kenya, cause I don't know. Because I have even relatives in Githurai. Sijui kama wako poa. I'll try to find them this morning, because I have a cousin who has 2 boys na huwa wanatokea maandamano sometimes, so I'll call later and see kama wako sawa. But ina tu heartbreak, sitawadanganya. It's very heartbreaking, yeah. So if you guys can do that, mwende utaona, msitoke. That's all I wanted to say.
Asante sana, tumeshukuru sana kwa wazo yako, na pia it is important kuvent kulia, hiyo ni important, very very important. Mzuri, nimeona wakili Ndegwa. I'm giving you a mic in a few minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, Lady Justice, go ahead.
I'm gonna try and drop, then come back, because I can't hear any of the speakers. Is that okay?
Can you hear people?
I can hear you, but for all the
Okay, you can drop, then you just come back. No worries.
okay, okay, see you soon.
Oh, all right, see you soon. Who was getting next? Mo?
Okay, okay. So I think I did not get the list who was to come, but
Just
I can just give
yeah,
mic to
Josephine, I think.
I see Ndegwa ameingia. We have Africa, Abaya, Josephine. Ndegwa, can you greet us this morning and tell us something?
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies, for this opportunity. Good morning. I have listened to the last submissions by that lady, and our hearts are bleeding. Our hearts are bleeding as a result of injustice that is being perpetuated as against our people. Our hearts are bleeding because our people are agitating for change. Our hearts are bleeding because there's no one who is listening to us. Our hearts are bleeding because of the deafness and the arrogance of Mr. William Ruto. Our hearts this morning are bleeding. They are bleeding because people are asking for accountability. People are asking what is the status and the fate of our airport. Our hearts are bleeding because people are asking what is the status of our debts in this country. Who is going to listen to us? Who will hear us? How many people do you want to kill so that you can be accountable to the people? So, ladies and gentlemen, this morning, these deaths can only add more fire to us. They can only add more fire to our bellies. We are being called upon to keep on soldiering on and not to retreat. Any death that occurs as a result of our agitation is a confirmation that we are not there yet. Any death that occurs as a result of our pressure is a call and a reminder to ourselves that we are dealing with a dictator, is a reminder to us that we have lost the compass and the cardinal north in terms of governance in this country, is a call to remind us that we must now come out and support our Gen Zs and our millennials. There is no one who is left behind. When a Gen Z or a millennium is killed, their parents mourn them, their aunts mourn them, their brothers who are not in those age brackets also mourn them. So this is not an agitation for the Gen Z or the millenniums anymore. It's for us all to come and support the good cause. We fought for this constitution. We realized the fruits of the constitution. William Ruto does not believe in this constitution. William Ruto did not support this constitution. William Ruto was sworn in with a document that he has never read. He swore he swore to protect a constitution that he does not know its content. That is why he cannot understand that a right to picket and a freedom to picket is a God-given right, is a God-given freedom, is a sacrosanct and sacred freedom. Our tragedy is that the individuals who are now at the helm, both Mr. William Ruto and Mr. Gashagua, they have never ever interacted with this document. And it shall be our duty to remind them that this constitution is the one that is giving us the cardinal north. It's either you believe in it, it is either you shape in or you shape out. If we relent at this time, if we stop at this time, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters, we'll have lost a God given opportunity. So we must rise up and demonstrate and dramatize to William Ruto that we are living in a Kenya that has changed. We are living in a Kenya and we are aspiring to have a Kenya that is accountable to the people. A government that is accountable to the people. A government that is transparent. If you want to sell our airport, tell us I am selling your airport to XYZ for this amount and for this reason. You cannot be concealing these things and run this country as if you're running your poultry farm. This is our country. It belongs to all of us. And we must dramatize and remind him that accountability is not a favor, it's a right, it's a God given freedom to us. We must dramatize and remind him that transparency is not a favor that we are asking from him. It is his duty and obligation to do it. We must dramatize and remind him that impunity has no place in this country. We will dramatize and remind him anytime when he bothers to listen that arrogance is not part and parcel of what Kenyans pleaded in our constitution. We must remind him anytime that we have an opportunity that this country is destined for greatness, we will not relent, we will not stop, we will pay with our blood until change comes. Change is here. Change is here. Change is in the air. I am smelling change. We are going to live with this change. We are going to fight for this change. There's nobody who will ever live like a mountain, not even William Ruto. Jomo Kenyatta was here, he went. Moi was here, he went. His Excellency Kibaki was here, he went. Even Uhuru was here. And there is that he must be reminded with the loudest voice. We are going to climb to our rooftops and remind William that there's no way we are going to allow you.
Mok mute inaleta echo. Okay.
We're not going to. Sorry, there's some echo.
Mok mute.
We're going to remind William Ruto.
Mok, can you mute? Go ahead, Wakil.
Well, we're going to remind William Ruto from our rooftops that this country is bigger than him, that sisi sio akina Shalina kuwa natucommand vile anataka kutucommand. Sisi, he has not married us. We are Kenyans, we are here by right. And we must take actions against him. Those police officers who are masked, those police officers who are in plain clothes, they must be treated as criminals. They must be treated as criminals because the National Police standing orders, they have given criteria upon how a multitude or a crowd ought to be managed. So when you come clothed in civilian, how are we supposed to identify you? Whom are we supposed to say that you are? How shall we identify goons from police officers? And until we start taking actions against these individuals, I will not call them police officers. We take personal actions. Any action that involves self-defense action against these individuals, they will continue to kill us in their civilians. They will continue to abduct us in their civilians. So let the police officers also understand that they are not also safe when they come in a manner that they are not capable of being identified. And that must be demonstrated clearly with all actions necessary to suggest and necessary to communicate to them that they must come to the front line in a manner that we are able to identify them. If they're able to identify us as civilians, because we do not have any insignias, how do we identify them as police officers? They have a duty to identify themselves. We must not allow any person, any comrade, to be abducted by a civilian police officers on our face. We must resist that aspect. We must resist as the attempt of the ununiformed officers abducting our comrades. Any attempt that is done by the uniformed officers to attempt to abduct our people or arrest our people must be treated as a criminal activity. And we have a right also as citizens to effect civilian arrests, and we shall arrest that person and hand him over to necessary authority, including the people's authority, because the people have that authority, insofar as we are not able to identify him. So let us resist the police brutality. I don't want to say that sometimes it is necessary for us to have our own self-defense mechanisms. The law allows us to have that self-defense mechanisms because we cannot allow ourselves to be killed like locusts. We cannot allow the police to mutilate our brothers and sisters. And number three, as I sum up, any person who has been abducted or a person who has been subjected to rigorous criminal jurisprudence or jurisdiction must now not be defined as an abductee. He must be defined as a political prisoner. So that then we continue graduating and we start agitating for the release of the political prisoners. Those are no longer abductees. Those are no longer accused persons. They are political prisoners. And we must define them as such because in the international arenas, the definition of a political prisoner is different from a definition of an accused person. So until we keep on, unless we change the terminology in manner in which we define these people, the international community will still continue to think these are thugs who have been arrested. These are looters who have been arrested. These are are goons who have been arrested. But as long as somebody who has been arrested pursuing this cause, we must start to define him as a political prisoner so that we can continue to pile pressure. The way the mother of Koigi Wamwere and Koigi Wamwere and the rest applied pressure for the release of the political prisoners. So that the definition in the international arena changes from an accused person to a person who has been put behind bars for agitation. How we can lead an nonviolent movement. We must remain and be committed to an nonviolent approach to this process. We must remain within the confinement of the Constitution. We do not want to have any extra constitutional approach in this revolution. Finally, my brothers and sisters, let us pray for this country. And even as we pray, let us take actions. So I've proposed that we target embassies, not for occupation purposes, but to seek for asylum. Because running away from his country because of persecution for believing and holding a particular cause. If 50 people or 100 people seek asylums in all these embassies, there is no way things will remain the same. There's no way the international community will continue to close their eyes. And we must remind them that we are so much worried, not by the noise of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you a nice day.
Asante sana Wakili Ndegwa for that powerful submission. Hillary, did you have a lineup so far, or should I just start with Extrovert and Josephine?
Thank you, Rariton and Lady Justice. My name is Josephine from Mombasa, and good morning, everyone, from wherever you are in Kenya, fellow countrymen and women. And I think I want to appreciate what Advocate Degwa is just telling us, and it's saying. However, I think we need to wake up from the deep sleep that we are in right now. Reason being, remember, I've just heard people say that people are being followed from their homes and from their houses and from their residence. What does that mean? When I remember when I was in high school, there was a time people just decided to do the same to Moi's government, and what happened seated there, and then when you whatever you are discussing, you keep on discussing there, and then you'll come and get just carried from there. And once he takes that tactic, then because if he has started going to people's homes, then the probability is there. Then what are we saying now? We need also to wake up. Can we start preparing on how to sensitize each and every person to understand? And also look for another trick on how to move forward. Yes, we would want the international communities to do that, but as we do that, we also need to do proper sensitization, everyone and every person, big or small, young or old, to know this. And we avoid the situation of saying it's the issue to do with the Gen Zs. It's everybody, every citizen of this country. Because the direction we have taken, it may not be the best. And you can see, as I said yesterday, he seems to have developed some immune, such that even if whatever you do, I don't care, I'm going to do what I want to do. Fellow Kenyans, above it all, can we know it's God who is doing it? Can we start organizing our own prayers, not even to call the pastors to come and pray for us, but we can pray our own national prayers, whereby we lead ourselves, we lead the word of God, we expound the word of God, and we revoke the name of the Most High God for our nation. We also do penance and reconciliation between us and God. Because no matter how much we keep on saying we are fighting for those who are fallen, and then every day we go and others are fallen, then we go again and others are fallen, and we are still fighting for others and fallen, then we will fall and we will fall, and eventually all of us will fall. Nobody will remain. Can we try to have a focus now? Can we ask ourselves, which is the best approach to take over, and to know that we are no longer dealing with the same person we thought he would be intimidated and withdraw. Because by the virtue of seeing him, allow people to start following people in their homes, that tells you things are not good. And we are not going to see it, then we destroy our country. I am sure even we've been hearing the people who are in the diaspora, they keep on telling you, yes, I went there willingly to work there, but I want to be back in my country. But whenever I think about coming back in my country, I realize it's unbearable because I am jobless when I come back. Kindly, it's my humble request. We need to start asking ourselves a better strategy. And for me, if you're asking me now, the very best strategy is to host our prayer day for all of us. We cry to the Lord. We do repentance of our sins and of the sins of the people of this country, and we start seeking God's wisdom on what we are doing. Without just being, we are the country stand on a standstill instead of undermining kila siku. I think I would say it's me who came with it back in the year 2002 when kulikuwa na maandamano mingi. But when we start saying ni sisi tulianzisha, ni sisi tulifanya, we are losing it. Let's stand firm, incorporate everybody, take all the devices from different groups and different categories of people in the country, and let's say this is the country we want, and we have to deal with it in a sequential way in which everyone will be able to look at it and say yes. Because right now, if we keep on exchanging with him, we will not be having any power to take him to ICC. But once him alone is one person, we are the majority. We are able to fix our country and take him to the ICC. But if we also make sure the country is destroyed, I'm hearing there are some areas which have been banned during the day, during the night. Now, let's ask ourselves, If we keep on burning the country and then we are left with nothing because of one person, what are we going to gain? We will be left with nowhere to stay. And he has already stolen a lot of money and actually invested in other countries. He will just try and go there with his family, and we will remain here suffering as a nation. Can we employ new tactics? And can we try to be open to everybody? Another thing I've discovered, people are raising war against themselves, because if we continue that, we'll be fighting against ourselves. You will see kwa mitandao somebody saying, kwani wizara ya afya ni mumama, sijui security ni mumama, sijui nini mumama, kwani hii nje haina wanaume. That's very, very bad remark, because for years and centuries we have been fighting for this country, for gender party role to be attained, which has not been attained. Then we only see 4 women, and you are there insulting the women, thinking that wamama, they are not supposed, and they start impunity of saying wamama. There is no mumama when it comes to actually making our country stable. Can we try to use a respectful language? Can we try to say, if it's Josephine is incompetent. Yes, not the same mumama. Ni Josephine, and Josephine is incompetent. We don't want Josephine because of 1, 2, 3. Josephine can be replaced with another person who is even better, but not necessarily a man. Josephine can be replaced with another person, can be replaced with Njoki, can it be replaced with that direction of saying women, everybody being respected for who they are. Thank you so much, and let's have a good day forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine, for that submission. Yeah, we are calling for respect for all genders.
Thank you so much, and let's have a good day forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine, for that submission. Yeah, we are calling for respect for all genders.
Ahead then, veteran. Faisal. Faisal Omar, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Faisal Omar, are you here?
I think it was Masimba.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just give it. Masimba, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro.
It's okay. I can wait. And anyway, let me say this. I'm very much enlightened, and at the same time, very much excited. Even if we are not happy on what is happening with our government, and I know that sometimes we are asking a lot of questions. What's going on? Why people are not listening? So, number one, the thing that I wanted, Git, thank you so very much for just your submission about the spending, those terminologies about what we need to know about what's happening with our budget, borrowing. I wanted to ask one question about the printing.
Can you guys hear Masimba?
Yes. Ndinda, I can hear him.
Oh, I cannot hear him from my end. I don't know why.
Yeah, I can
I'm
hear you. I can hear you
okay.
actually, Linda.
Akimaliza nitakwambia. I'm sorry about that.
So
All right. Go ahead, bro.
yeah, is it listening? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, bro. Right?
Okay. I wanted to know, does the government print money? And this, you know what I'm saying. So we are under the system which is fiat currency, and the moment we moved from the gold standard to dollar standard, things have been really going worse. And that's why you find the governments, they are borrowing to spend, domestic. That is to pay to pay bills. They are borrowing, which is not supposed to happen. Like this morning, I saw in the US the debt is really skyrocketing, but the system in the US is a little bit better because every state takes care of its people. So sometimes the federal government is not on the rim line when it comes to debt, but they can worry about maybe defense money, how to take care of their international policy, or foreign policy when it comes to budget. But in our country, I think I've never heard about the money printing so that they can offset some other pressure. And what happens? Do we really print money? That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I think that what they're gonna answer that, but I think Kenya they print money. Although not, I know they print. That's why we have the Delaru in Thika Road immediately after Utali. Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't heard about that. Like because I know if they decide to print money, and that's why we have a lot of inflation. So the more they print the money, inflation goes up, and because now things are not moving, and we are talking about the effect. I think this year things are going to be really bad. But therefore, in order for us to have the better future, I know, and it should be, that we need to persist so that the reforms and the policies has to be changed and implemented, those systems which works for the better future of our country. It may take 5 years, even up to 10 years, but if we persist, I know that things will change. But for the next maybe 8 to maybe 14 months or maybe 2 years, let me tell you, things are going to be really bad. But it's worth it because we have been aborting all the time, and things are going to really really worse. So guys, let us be united. Let us encourage one another. I'm so happy and I'm very much enlightened by the speakers of today, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. Yep, I hear we're also learning a lot of things, and that's why we have all these spaces for us even to learn, and also what is the best way forward as Kenyans. What is our best? How can we do things tukiendelea? Naona Faisal alianguka, aliteremuka Dinda, and then veteran.
Am I audible?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, veteran, wacha Dinda aende alafu tunakusikia Dinda. We can hear you. We can hear you very well.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sijui kwa nini sikuweza kusikia Masimba. Anyway, I think I'll first start with just sending my condolences to everybody that has lost a loved one today. I think it's incredibly sad since, our protests began. It's been so heartbreaking. I think for me at this point, I just feel kind of numb. Yeah, I wanted to kind of speak about something somebody had asked about, why, especially during the election period, these politicians come to us and they give us kidogo monies here, and people make these decisions because I think in the context of the greater picture, it's important to go into the details. And I think from my understanding and all the research that I have been doing, I think in the history of the country, what has been happening is we have been having.
Dinda, are you speaking?
Yes, I'm speaking. Can you guys hear
You
me?
are so far. You are so far. Are you in the kitchen?
I'm not in the kitchen.
Where did you put your phone? Because we can't hear you.
now?
All right. Yeah, kaa
Can you
karibu
hear
na
me?
simu hapo. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you.
I was saying, like, first I would just like to offer my condolences to, you know, everybody that has lost a loved one in this process. It's been very heartbreaking. I think for me, I have just been numb since the 25th because of how many people have been killed by the police, and to see it still happening, I think it's completely heartbreaking. And then the other issue that I wanted to address, I a question about why we see people, you know, like actually we where we had an instance where we just
Okay,
like
asante
send
sana Mr.
a
Speaker.
thousand bob, and you
Kwa
know
majina
that's
naitwa
enough for
Oriati
them
Bim,
to kind of fight
tetezi ya
the
Maslay
movement.
Queen.
And then during the election period, we see, you know, these politicians going to the villages and giving people a little money, and yeah, that's enough for people to make the political choices they make. And I was saying, in the, you know, the context of the greater picture, like in the grand scheme of things, it's really important for us to understand the history of our country. I think this is very important in civic education. It's not just about us understanding our constitution, it's also us understanding how Kenya became Kenya and why Kenya is the way it is. And I think for a long time, what has been happening is we have ideological mystification where the grievances of Kenyans, especially the grievances presented at, you know, independence, where these people would come and say, you know, we want our land back, we want health for everybody, we want education, is kind of misconstrued. And the ideas of inequality are now shifted into issues of tribalism. And how politicians do this is by use of populism, where they pit us against each other. We have seen many times in the past where politicians would tell, like, you know, this community, you know, you're suffering because of this community. And that's totally not true. The issue has always been, you know, the system that is tasked with addressing these issues does not address them. Um, yeah, and so it's really important for us to understand how we have come to be and how politics kind of play these ideas to make us understand our interests and perceive our interests differently than they are. We are still seeing that happening up to now. And I think the last thing I would say is, I think right now what we are going through is not just protests. I think we are in the middle of a revolution. Me personally, I feel like sometimes I kind of get a bit tired. So I think these spaces are really important for us to just keep in conversation, to keep on talking and encouraging each other. So thank you for the space. And yeah, let's see how we can map out these things so we can understand them in the greater, you know, picture, so that we can place everything accurately, and so we can see the way forward. If it means we have to get the monies that, you know, the Uhurus have stolen, the Railas have stolen, the Rutos, we need to know how we can do that. Again, I'm really sorry for everyone who's lost a loved one. We are in this together. Let us know how we can help and be there for each other. Yeah, Viva.
Thank you so much, Dinda, and we really appreciate your submission, and we hear you so well, and thank you so much for that. Lady Justice, I see you make 100 and 200, 200. How are
I'm sending 100 each to our comrades on the ground. You know, thank you very much. I had to run into a meeting, but now I'm back. Let's continue the conversation. Muknyabinda is here.
Ukinyamenda is here, like, but I think is I don't know what he's doing. Veteran, You had the mic, Leila, Kenya folk, Kenya for Kenyans, and then in that Eric Omonga, Blessed Prema Nonini. Nonini, welcome. I see you, bro. Thank you so much for joining. Lady Justice, umeshika hiyo laini.
Hebu rudia tena. Umejua siku hizi nakuwa mzee.
Veteran,
Veteran.
Yeah, am I audible?
Unazeeka. Yeah, Leila, alafu Kenya for Kenyans. Kuna Eric Omonga, kuna msemeji hapo.
Perfect. Tuko
All right. Let me
sambamba.
first.
Go ahead, Veteran.
I think Lady Justice is saying something, but all right, let me proceed. So I was just saying that I'm very much appreciative for this wonderful moment and the opportunity that you have given me. And secondly, I would like to congratulate each and every person who attended, either physically and financially or in any way that you contributed. God bless you. So first and foremost, I would like to say that I have listened to Joy. Joy is saying that we report some some of the accounts here in X. On X, they are trying to tarnish our motives and everything that we are trying to fight for. It's like they are because of they are on the side of the government. So I was another space, and we have tried to report that account for Robert Arai. I think you guys, the way we are here, I see we are over 100 and something, almost 180. If we can take part and report this this account, it can be a good. We can fight a very good battle because this guy has a following. We can, and at the same time, and everything we are posting, he's making sure that everything we are doing is nonsense. So please, you guys, if you can do so, it can be of paramount importance. Kindly. So second thing I would like to say that we have fought, and the far we have gone, we are doing something. So let us continue pressing on and making sure that our demands are met, and we should not give up. So I have seen there is something that I have seen someone here retweeting, and I have seen that it is in a Trans Nzoia, where because there are no roads there, the government is collecting money from there, and those guys, the MCA is not doing anything. So he went to that place and he went to the to his constituents, and he was he was forced to walk on the mud and left his vehicle there. So because there is no accountability, he's not doing anything. He's just taking money, taking tenders and everything, but there's nothing he's doing on the ground. So those are the things that we are saying that's supposed to be. We are supposed to, and at the same time, you guys imagine we are paying tax, but you are, well, we are not refusing to pay tax, but tax yenye tunalipa ni ya nini? I have been to a place, I have been to another country outside, whereby I was hospitalized there. Imagine I paid 300 years and I was hospitalized there for 6 days. And you find that anytime that you are going to the hospital, because you have an HIF card, in that country they call it medical card. So you find that it's the same like NHIF card. You find that no matter how many or how much amount of the tablets cost, you just pay like 3, 4, or even less than 5 shillings Kenyan money. Like okay, it's equivalent like 100 and something. Those are a lot of tablets, and it is very hard for you to purchase all those tablets. So sometimes you find that you are buying for 3, 4, something of such kind. So in our country, they are trying to embezzle each and every cent that we are paying as tax, and taking those money, the money that you are paying tax in overseas countries, so that they can go and enjoy with their families and relatives there. Can you try to think about the people who are in the village, those people who even don't know how, the school, the gate of the school is? Think about those people who doesn't have anyone even to direct them to the school. They doesn't have even clothes. They doesn't have shelter. They have nothing. Just imagine about when these politicians go there, they just cheat them. Hey, we are going to do this and that. We are going to do. Then out direction, they vanish. They will never be seen again. You see, these people, imagine for ourselves, I can see that many of us here are educated. Those people are not educated. Those people knows nothing. They just rely on those politicians to give the information. As because they trust those politicians so much, they exactly do what they are being told by those guys. You see, because there is no infrastructure, there is no even they doesn't have radio, and maybe they doesn't even have television. So they because are probably or at least we are educated somehow, and we know we get the first-hand information. We are enlightened. So guys, this war, I feel sometimes I get emotional when I think about even to bro. Let me not continue. This is my comment.
Kuna shida veteran, hakuna shida. You know, ni mapambano tu. Kila siku mapambano. We will manage. We will manage. Nimeona hapo comment. Kuna mtu amesema hapa ati tulikuwa tunaongea hiyo mambo ya resources that we have in Kenya, and there is oil in Turkana, and there was a time somebody wanted to extract that na gava ikaleta nyokonyo in that project. Mi kenye nasema at the end of the day, kama Kenya iko na deni ya watu yenye nafaa kulipa